Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rolling Forward podcast. I am here with Allison today. And before we start, I do have a question. You're juggling a lot, raising your kids, navigating life after divorce, working full time. And on top of it all, you're running your kids' volleyball league. With all these chapters in your story, what's been the biggest anchor that's kept you grounded through it all?
Hey, well, nice to be here, Zach. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Um, I have found over the years, with all these chapters as my life has developed and unfolded, there's not one specific anchor per se, but
Mm.
specifically within these last couple of years that's really been the one thing. More so, I've been able to use my desire for authenticity
Yeah.
as the compass to kind of navigate as those chapters
Mm.
develop and as I'm working my way through each life event, life scenario, just life in general,
Yeah.
is that journey for authentic, real connection with those around me and developing a deeper, more meaningful life. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of been more of a compass taking me on that journey more so than something kind of anchoring me down.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll talk all about that authenticity, and we'll get into a lot of these experiences on the podcast. But before we do, welcome everybody again to the Rolling Forward podcast, a podcast of people who keep rolling forward no matter what life throws at them. Real people, real stories, powered by purpose, resilience, and a drive that never ends. I'm Zach Sikora. Spina bifida didn't stop me. It just gave me a better excuse to sit down while I take over the world. Today's funny shirt is, um, hold on, let me pick it up a little bit more. I can't stand wheelchair jokes. Obviously, there's the pun in there. This is a rolling forward created shirt. I did create this. You can find this design and all of my designs at rollingforward.printful.me. And if you do have a funny shirt idea, I'd love to hear it. Throw it in the comments. It might make it into my shop. Now, let's roll into today's episode with Allison. Allison, again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on my show. We're going to get into a lot of things. I think we have a lot of shared, I suppose, values that we talked before the podcast of things that we want to talk about, and I'm thrilled. We used to work together, or we used to work on the same team together. We still work for the same company. But can you get into just give us like a 10,000-foot overview of like who you are
Yeah, absolutely.
before we get started?
And again, thanks for having me on today.
Yeah.
So my name is Allison. I am a mother to two teenagers. I have a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old.
Okay.
I run a junior sand volleyball league with one of my good friends.
Okay.
On top of it, I work full time and I have been really working these past couple years on creating those deep, meaningful connections with those around me. I had a
Yeah.
big life shift a couple years ago and finding the joy, finding the good
Yeah.
after being through the bad has been a really big driving force over these past couple of years.
Yeah. 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 Can you just do me a favor? Just
Yeah.
move your mic a little bit more. Yeah. There we go. And then
Yeah.
point it at you. There you go. Like, you can turn this piece. You just grab it and turn it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. All
Sorry, I
right.
forgot to tell you that.
I
And
didn't know that. Okay.
okay,
Is that
yeah,
good?
that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you for giving that. And again, we'll get into a lot of that. Next question: if we weren't here right now, where would you be?
Man, okay. So I love Sundays.
Mm,
So we are recording this on a Sunday morning.
yep.
I actually had you push it an hour because 10 a.m. on a Sunday was very early for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
So as you can probably get from the context clues, most Sunday mornings are spent in bed
Y-
catching up on my sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are my mornings that I recharge. I might get up, have a cup of coffee, but I'm still sitting in bed.
Closer to you.
Thank
There we
you.
go. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because you said something like we scheduled it for 10 a.m. and she says something yesterday like we'll see you bright and early. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me confirm the time with her because that to me isn't necessarily bright and early, let's say. But and then she explained that. So
Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah, so that's awesome. So I want to get into just our work story. We had probably one of the craziest experiences together with coworkers that we worked with.
Yeah.
And so the way I see it, and we were kind of talking, it happened what 5 or 6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2018-ish?
Yeah. So wow, yeah,
Wow, going
okay.
on quite a while.
That is going on.
2018, 2019, yeah.
Yeah. So for the sake of the podcast, we're gonna name these guys Adam and Steve, two of the people who were involved with this. But just to so everybody knows, it didn't happen to us per se. It happened almost around us.
Yeah.
Let's say.
We were kind of in the middle of the eye of the storm,
Yes.
essentially.
Yes. Exactly. So, um, the how it started was we have a guy on our team. We'll call him Steve. He was he's a very self-confident person, we'll say. And sometimes that doesn't rub people the right way. And Adam was disturbed by some of the things that he said. And what was really interesting is Adam so Steve would say something and Adam would lead into or presume things that he said.
Yes. Yes. He
Um,
would hear it very differently,
yes.
his interpretation of what was being said.
So something as simple as, and I don't have an example. Do you?
Agreed.
So it was something as simple as like, all right, I'm gonna go home soon, and he would take it almost as like, oh, he doesn't want to talk to me, or in some sort of way like that. He like it's not quite like that, but it was like some sort of slight sometimes.
Yeah, it's like when you're starting to have a falling out with somebody that you're close with, you kind of just start twisting
Yes.
everything they say,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it through a lens of like resentment or anger. So
Yeah.
everything Steve was saying, Adam was interpreting it as Steve was attacking him somehow, even as
Yes.
simple as I'm going to pack up and leave for the day. That was
Yes.
somehow an attack on Adam.
Right, exactly. And being I guess an eye on the disc assessment. We'll get into that in a second. But I like seeing people collaborate and be all friendly together and stuff like that. So one of the scenarios um Adam took incorrectly. I messaged Adam on Teams and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you're a little out of line doing that." In more words than less, let's say. I buttered it up, I'm sure. And there's one moment that I remember, and I wish I knew more details, but there was one moment in general where Adam like Steve said something and Adam yelled across the cubicle at him.
That's right.
Do you yeah, and it was
Yes.
that was kind of the pinnacle and we
Yeah, like the boiling point where it all finally came. Nobody could ignore it anymore.
yes. And that was crazy. So um we had talked to our boss about it several times.
Yes.
And Adam is just this guy that's like, I don't know, he's super quiet all the time, and
Yeah.
he's like, unless you're in this situation, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And so our boss, correct me if I'm wrong, but for a while, for the first couple times, our boss kind of brushed it off,
Yeah.
and then
And couldn't believe that somebody as quiet and as studious and I guess somebody that was so they kept their head down, they did their work, they worked hard, was having this misinterpretation, this anger issue almost it turned into.
yeah, exactly. And so once once that blew up, um, we can you get it?
just gonna
Here, it's all right. Yeah,
thank you.
go ahead. Yeah.
I think that might be easier to do it this way. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Now point it up at you. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So once that blew up, and you don't have to lean. You can adjust it. So there you
Oh,
go.
that was
Yeah.
where I was sitting comfortably.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Have a natural
However you
lean.
want to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so take it from here. What happened next from your
So,
recollection?
like you said, we were kind of in the middle of the storm. We were in the eye of the hurricane as it was kind of whirling around us. I believe you and I sat next to each other on the cubicles,
Mm,
and then
yeah.
Steve and Adam were across from us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember the yelling incident because that was where it really boiled over and more people were aware that there was an anger issue brewing. I remember when HR got involved. I remember the meetings that we had down in HR.
Yeah.
I remember those did not go good, and we can go into that if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it.
And then I just remember the final outcome, and there was another coworker involved. We can call her Sarah,
Yeah.
and I remember her fears were kind of bleeding into the group as well, which kind of created that not mass hysteria, but more just like mass panic of
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So we had didn't we have two HR meetings?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, HR actually called Adam in, from what I've gathered.
Yes.
And Adam the entire time was playing this victim card, like,
Mhm.
oh, it's not me.
Steve's an aggressor.
Yeah, Steve's an aggressor and blah 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 blah. And then I don't know if it was that same time, but then they called us into the room.
Yes. And yeah, he was still in there fuming about being the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of us, including Steve, was brought into the room.
Yes.
And basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, the HR and our boss basically sat there and said, Adam is the victim. Steve, stop being aggressive. And the
Yeah.
rest of us said, that's not the perspective from within the group.
No.
And then I think that was where it really shifted.
Yeah.
And Sarah became nervous about what Adam was going to do because his responses were getting a little unhinged.
Well, yeah.
I remember him being in that room, like just
Go ahead.
giving this, like his arms were crossed, his head was down, and just like really kind of giving like very uncomfortable vibes to everybody in the room of like,
Yes.
we were watching him deteriorate with his mental status at that moment.
Yeah. And then the victim mask came off,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Steve said something, and he in that moment took it wrong
Mm-hmm.
or something, and he just exploded. See, there you go again, blah 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 blah.
Yes.
And go ahead. You take it
Well,
from
you're
there.
bringing back, like, you're opening the memory that I forgot was there
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Because I did think about this, we were going to have this conversation. I remember the meeting with HR, and I remember Sarah's reaction because I think I was more kind of attached to her
Yeah.
in that situation.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the specifics from within the meeting other than that in a meeting with HR and our manager was where it shifted and got people feeling unsafe.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is wild. You think about in a meeting with HR is when it becomes unsafe.
Yeah, yeah. And then I remember I don't know if it was Sarah or you that did it first, but somebody was like, "I'm out of here. I can't be
Yes.
in here anymore." Was
That
it
was
Sarah?
Sarah.
Yeah.
She started panicking because she saw his reactions and her interpretation where she was at in life. Her perception was this man is going to do something unhinged and hurt us. And I think he was saying things that were at least being interpreted as he was going to retaliate against at least Steve
Yeah.
and as a byproduct, us.
Yeah.
At
yeah.
least that was Sarah's interpretation. And again, I was with Sarah hearing this and saying, this is her interpretation. This is my interpretation. Now we are now unsafe around Adam.
Yeah. 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 That was that was insane. So eventually tell us the outcome now.
From what I remember is we left the meeting with HR. Adam was eventually let go, but Adam's spouse still had access to the building. Adam made it feel as if at least the overall feel that we got was that Adam was going to retaliate. And I think at that age and time, we were concerned about, something life threatening.
Yeah.
So I believe the overall outcome was Adam was let go and security guards were put at the entrances to the building. And I don't think they've left since.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no security at the revolving doors. There was no security at multiple points other than the main. And
Right.
now there's security all over the building and at those points
Mhm.
because of the fear that Adam put that
Do you
something was going to
do you
happen.
really think that was us that did that, or was that like something that they wanted to put in place already?
Maybe this was another incident that they added to the let's finally
Yeah.
get this up and running.
Yeah.
But it was definitely after Adam was let go.
Yeah.
And I believe Sarah was still panicking about his spouse having access to the building
Right.
with their badge
Right.
and what
Yeah.
they would do to support their husband
Yeah.
being let go
Right. Or him just stealing the badge and
and using it
going
to
in.
get in.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that was where it sparked. I think Sarah and I, at least Sarah, made the request of like security
Mhm.
guards to escort us to and from our cars for a little bit there
Right.
for at
Right.
least I think it was a month or so.
Mhm.
And I think they were also put at the entrances.
Yeah. And did we get like let go for half a day as well?
After that HR meeting, I feel like
We were done. Like, I remember you and
mentally,
I
yeah.
sitting in the cafeteria, maybe
Yes.
Sarah was as well,
Like,
but I think she was so distraught that she just wanted to,
yeah,
like,
she was definitely at a point where she was almost panicking, just like she was panicking herself. She
yeah,
was getting herself kind of in a flurry.
yeah.
And I do remember that decompressing in the cafeteria, just being like,
What just happened?
what just happened?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and experiences like that, like, I I don't know, whenever we saw each other last, I said something like, "You know, I probably won't ever forget you." And you're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because we had the craziest experience, the work experience. I'm never gonna
Right.
forget that moment."
Right.
So, like, it's like, yeah, like, I've never ever experienced a moment like that, and
Yeah.
it was scary, and it was, like, unhinged, and yeah, it was
Well, so I visit that building sometimes.
yeah.
And whenever I see the security guards and stuff, I still think, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Everybody who feels safe, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It might have been, like you said, the business decision that they were already leaning towards.
Right.
But I take personal, like, you're welcome, everybody.
Right.
They are here because of us
Yeah.
and our little team and what we went through.
Yeah,
Our
exactly.
little team of 5.
Right. Right. Okay, so I have another work story. So I'm super big on the DISC assessment, which is a personality test essentially, and they help teach you how to like work with people better and stuff like that. So they're the basic premise is like you can be any one of the letters. No letter is bad or good or anything like that, but every letter has pros and cons to it, right?
Yeah.
I'm an extreme I. You're an S, right? Or an SC
Yeah.
or
I
a
think I was
CN?
an SC.
Okay.
I can't remember because we did this again around the same time, 2019.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think about those things. So for example, I'm extremely fast paced. I like to make a decision before I have everything outlined, and then make improvements along the way, fix the mistakes along the way. Allison is very let me think about all this first, and that's one of the reasons why I think we worked well together is because I would come to you maybe with an idea, and you'd be like, okay, but let's think about all these things
Yeah.
as well, and all that. And so it was really funny because so I would consider you more of an S in this scenario, and I'm curious if you do you remember this what I'm about to say?
I think it's the same story I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So Allison is an S, we'll say, for the sake of the story. You've got Adam, who is a C, and then, Steve, who is, a D personality. So we had all the DISC assessment personalities right there, and somebody stood up and was like, "Hey, I'm walking down to the cafeteria. Do you guys wanna come with me?" Well, Adam, the C, stayed at his desk like a normal C would do. And so it was the three of us walking to the cafeteria. And the first corner that we came into, we basically almost collided with a person.
Yes.
And this exemplifies the disc assessment so perfectly because Allison says, sorry.
Yep.
I say, hey, how's it going? Which is typical of an I. And then Steve didn't say anything and kept going.
Just walked right past.
Walked right past. We obviously we maneuvered out of the way, all of us,
Yeah.
and in different ways we exuded the disc assessment. So.
All the personalities right there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's also one of my favorite stories to tell. And like whenever I talk about the disc assessment, I often tell that story to people because it's so perfect. So
Well, it's a great story
yeah,
of just everybody. I do remember like afterwards we had walked away and moved past them maybe 30 seconds and you started giggling. You're like, that was the perfect example of our disc. And then we all were like, that really was.
Yeah, exactly.
It was good.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So enough work stories. We might get into some more later, but the theme podcast question, Allison, what keeps you rolling forward?
Wow. I feel very honored to have this big question on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I used to think, gosh, for years, for probably my whole life, that powering through, um, getting through things, being resilient, hiding your weaknesses, all of that. I kind of thought that was how you moved forward. You hit it all and you just powered through. Just don't let people see you stutter, you stumble. Don't let people see you get weak, things like that. That was really my old mentality of just, that was how you showed strength, was by being strong and not showing any weakness, right?
Yeah.
And I found that within the last couple years, the thing that's really kept me rolling forward, especially going through the big life shifts that I've gone through, and especially keeping up with the chaotic life that I have, is that resilience can be soft and resilience can be real. And being authentic with those around you, that has really been a driving force to keep me moving forward, is those connections that I've learned can exist and how to deepen those connections. I would say those are the things that are really keeping me rolling forward anymore, is those deep, authentic, real connections to those around me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That brings up two interesting thoughts that I have is one of the first things that I thought of when you said that was, I'm a very positive person, and everybody thinks that I'm a very uppity, which I am. I generally have like high energy. I'm very happy all the time, but I think there are days that maybe I don't want to be here, or I don't want to. I'm just having a bad day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious what you think about this. Is one of the things that I do is I put on a face. I don't necessarily let people know. And one of the reasons behind that, like my best friends might know, right? But one of the reasons behind that is I know I've been around people who just suck the life out of the room.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those people.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like when you have a bad day or something like that, how do you maintain that authenticity?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I think I completely understand where you're coming from of putting on that mask. I would also consider myself to be almost a like too positive of a person.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I'm always looking for the good in the horrible. Sometimes I'm looking for the good in the bright side.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the mask wearing, which is essentially what it is it depends on the audience at this point. I would say before my big life shift of the divorce, most of my life was spent with that mask on. And I was very positive and upbeat and happy.
Yeah.
And it was mostly just hiding a lot. And I think afterwards, when I have a bad day and the default is let me put the mask on and not show anybody,
Yeah.
it has been finding out that risk of letting the mask slip around certain people, not around everybody, but around the people that matter, is it pays off in leaps or in heaps and bounds with how much you get back from that connection. And it's hard to let that mask slip, especially to those that you're not fully familiar with how they're going to react,
Yeah.
especially as you're forming new relationships, whether that's new friends, or in an actual dating scenario of just it's like exposing a raw nerve almost, pulling that
Right.
mask down, letting them see, I'm not always positive and upbeat.
Mm,
I'm not finding the rainbow today,
mm,
and allowing them to see it and to react and to be there. And that
yeah.
reaction is going to be different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. And that's the wonderful thing is I
Yeah.
know if I go to one of my friends, how they're going to react. And if
Mm,
I go to somebody else, they're going to react differently. And I want that. I
mm.
want different perspectives of that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's really interesting. So on the flip side of putting on that mask and not, do you know? Have you ever heard of Simon Sinek?
I have not.
So he's like a public speaker type of thing. And one of the shorts that I saw of him was something along the lines of, um, if you are really good friends with somebody, and you don't open up to that person and share the bad news or the moments of your life that you're going through something horrible,
Yeah.
if you don't do that, he says everybody looks for connection.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to help everybody out, right? Especially your friends. And so he says, how dare you deprive them of that opportunity?
Wow.
And it's like,
That's
whoa.
really profound.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's definitely a balance of like, just with my coworkers and whatnot who I'm
Yeah.
not like horribly close to, and putting on that mask,
Mhm.
and then there's that deeper side of like your friends and family who do care about you, and you letting that mask down,
Yeah.
right? So yeah.
I'm
Okay.
oh,
Go ahead. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
like this is just it's kind of like the perfect topic to talk about because that's really what
Yeah.
I've been working on these last years is taking that mask off around people.
Yeah.
And I would say like the biggest thing that I've learned, um, because most of the people that are in my life right now today
Mm.
are not people that were there for me pre-divorce. And
Oh.
that is not a bad thing. I have looked at the people around me and I've essentially said like that's beautiful that he said it as you're depriving your friends of that,
Yeah.
but not being able to connect with them and let them see the real me
Mhm.
um meant that they weren't really friends. They weren't really that connection. And by
Yeah.
lowering the mask and having those tough conversations and just letting them see the real Allison,
Mm.
I have found that the friendships and the connections and the people in my life now are so much more meaningful,
Yeah.
so much more like important to me
Yeah.
that I would fight anything to keep these people in my life, which also means, fighting that inner urge to put the mask on around them
Right.
and saying, no, I can't be this default Allison. I need to let the mask down and be around them. And it has led to the most meaningful and deep connections I've ever had in my 38 years on this earth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been really like just empowering to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And I think when you go through something tough and you have other people around you that help you through that,
Yeah.
I think that also builds that connection
Yes.
even stronger, you know?
Yeah, having that moment of overcoming together. I
Mhm.
will say there are a few people in my life that were here pre-divorce and post-divorce. So I don't want to say that nobody is the same.
Sure.
And I can think of one friend in particular. She was there for me before, just as a friend,
Mhm.
during as a huge crutch that I leaned upon, and after she's been a real guiding light of just being a genuine person. And that would not be if I didn't lower the mask and let her see
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
That's a great way to look at it of just I've given like I love that deny them the privilege because in
Yeah.
reverse, I want to be there for my people now.
Yeah.
These people mean so much to me. And if I find out, hey, I was going through something really difficult,
Yeah.
I would be like, why didn't you reach out to me?
Right. Right.
So it's
Exactly.
almost it's almost in reverse of like those connections go both ways and I would feel denied if somebody didn't reach out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would be mad if one of my best friends, like, didn't reach out to me. It's like, "Bro, like, I got you. Like, we've been through a lot, and I wanna help you through this."
Yeah, like I want to be just as connected to you as you are connected to me.
Yeah,
And that only
exactly.
comes from mutual vulnerability.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. All right. So the next thing, beyond everything you've been through, what's one mindset or belief that really helps you keep rolling forward day to day?
Wow, that's a really good one. Um, I
And if you've, I
I'm
feel
trying
like you might have
to think of
answered this
the
already too, but
I'm trying to think of the easiest way to say it all because this is the longest one that I could think
oh,
of.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
of the mindset shift.
yeah,
Um, I mean, the biggest one would probably be just like stop curating myself
mm,
and who I'm presenting. I have I learned that, and it's probably a product of just who I am, who I was raised to be, and then just a
mhm,
product of life,
mhm,
is that I was curating the Allison that you were getting. So you
mhm.
would get an Allison that I thought you would want. You would want to hang out
Oh,
with.
yeah,
She would answer the questions the way you that I thought you would want them to.
yeah,
And our connection was so surface level. And that was a lot of
oh,
people around me because I was not Allison.
yeah,
I was who I thought they wanted me to be to like me in that moment.
interesting.
And I found that I was really struggling to form deep friendships and deep connections because I wasn't being real. And so
Yeah,
that mindset shift of you have to be Allison
yeah,
to be loved.
right,
And how do you be Allison? Like, how do
mhm,
you do it?
yeah,
And it's by being vulnerable, by
right,
sending the text message the first time, not
mhm,
reading it 4 times from different perspectives. Just send the
yeah,
message. Um, just answering the questions or saying, I'm not feeling 100% today. I'm
mm,
not going to be able to give. Those are things that I probably would have never done
mm,
if I hadn't really been on that journey of like, I want deep connections. How do I get there?
yeah,
And just learning
interesting,
like that's kind of how you do it. You
yeah,
just invite people into those messier parts
mm,
and you don't curate yourself as much.
right, interesting. All right. Wow, that's awesome. Anything else to add? You said you had a
Um,
lot to say there, but
no, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of it
okay.
of just those mindset shifts over the past couple of years of just
Yeah.
being real, taking off the mask and having honest conversations with people. And
Yeah.
then not panicking when you do.
Yeah.
Not panicking that this is,
Yeah.
they're going to see the real you and reject you. They're going to see
Mhm.
the real you and feel more connected. They're not going to reject you because
Yeah.
you didn't curate your text message.
I think one of the other cool things about that though is even if they do reject you, that's fine,
Yeah.
right? Like that's just not the person that you want in your life, right?
Yes. That has been a huge shift as well.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
just like if they don't like me, if they see me and
Mhm.
I'm not for them,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have
Interesting.
to mold myself to make sure that they like me, and the reason they're leaving is because I've allowed this to happen. No, you can
Mhm.
just go.
So you said pre-divorce and post-divorce, you don't have a lot of the same friends.
Mhm.
Was your authenticity coming out part of that?
Yes, that was
Okay.
a huge part of it.
Interesting.
And it kinda goes back to what I talked about with those surface level
Mm.
friendships. I had a lot of those, during my marriage. I had a
Yeah.
lot of just surface level friends. I think that's a product of having kids. Life is
Yeah.
busy, it's crazy. It's
Mhm.
very, at least for me, it was hard to form those deep connected
Yeah.
friendships.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after the divorce, I really wanted I had one friend that really took me under her wing after the divorce, and I saw how real and authentic our friendship was,
Mm.
and I wanted to be able to do that more. I
Yeah.
saw how good and healthy it was, and I was like, that's what I want. I wanna be real. I wanna be
Yeah.
I just wanted to be like that, and then I took the steps to get there.
Yeah. And I think everybody can probably relate to this is like when you go through a tough time, you really find out who the special people are in your life.
Yeah.
So I've told a story of like when I broke my arm and like there were some people who were great and others that weren't so much. So but yeah, that's interesting. So is there a particular routine or tool that you rely on when you hit tough moments that helps you regain your momentum?
Yeah. Um, when I was thinking about this, I was really kind of thinking like tough times and kind of what I would consider a tough time.
Mm,
And I kind of looked at it more of a perspective of I know that the winter months are coming up And I know that I really struggle when the sun's not out every day, when it's really gray,
Ah.
like going through those, the winter blues, the sad.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of how I interpreted, like, those are tough times for me. I
Mm.
know every winter I'm going to feel this way.
Mm.
And what am I doing to not feel this way? And so I do have like different steps in my routine, which is I make sure that every day I'm doing something movement related,
Mm. Okay.
more so than just to and from work. Like there
Mhm.
has to be some sort of physical movement, whether that's stretching, mobility, an actual workout, just to move the body because I know
Mhm.
that that's very healthy for you.
Yeah.
Um, Getting outside as much as I can
Mhm.
in the winter months is very important too, and then just making sure that I know what I'm headed into.
Mhm.
I know no matter how hard I try, I will not get through the winter without feeling the winter blues,
Yeah.
knowing it's just temporary. The spring's going to come. The flowers will bloom again.
Yeah.
You just have to get through the gray.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's almost a metaphor for life, isn't it? You just got to
Mhm.
get through the
Yeah.
gray winter to get to the spring and the blooms. And
Yeah.
that's kind of just preparing myself like this is not the end. This is, this is just winter.
Mm.
So that's kind of how I viewed it of those are the things that I'm doing to prepare for a tough time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at a tough time of like somebody important to you passes away or, you lose your job, like those, you can't prepare for those. You
Right.
just have to lean on your people at that point. And like you
Yeah.
said, you find out who your people are when you go through those bigger
Right.
tough times.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting. I actually don't get like the winter blues. Do you take vitamin D by the way?
Um, I take one of the Bs, I can't remember which
D.
one. No,
D is in
I
dog.
take one of the Bs as in
Oh, okay,
boy.
okay.
I do not take a vitamin D.
Okay, okay.
But I've heard the benefits of all different types to help,
Yeah.
um, artificially, give off like is it the UV or the
Yeah, your body absorbs vitamin D when it's in the sun.
yeah.
And so yeah, it's interesting. I've started doing vitamin supplements, specifically like vitamin D, magnesium, K, stuff like that. And when I don't take those vitamins, I feel off for the day.
Wow.
And it's like, oh wow, like it's incredible how much it's changed me because one of the thought processes is like because the farming just the nutrients and whatnot, they use the same soil and they put fertilizer on it. All the crops are like nutrient deficient.
Yeah.
And so there was even a study that looked at like nutrition from like the 1950s or something like that to now, and like the nutrients in fruits and vegetables is less, and
Oh,
so we
wow.
need more vitamins and minerals. So yeah, that's interesting.
I should look into that, the vitamin D.
Yeah.
I think my mom takes that for something different. She has like a deficiency or something, but she
Yeah.
does take the vitamin D.
Mhm.
And from what I remember, because I did look at the vitamin B as in boy for last year, is you
Yeah.
have to kind of start taking it a month in advance to when the winter's coming
Uh,
because it has to build up in your system. It's not
yeah.
instantaneous. All of a sudden, it's going to
Yeah.
you absorbed this energy. You have to build it up in your system.
Yeah. And then vitamin K and vitamin D work well together. So there's oftentimes vitamin D and K supplements that you can
Hmm.
get at the same time. And then magnesium helps out with depression.
Okay,
So I don't know.
maybe I'll have to look
I'm
into
not a
this
doctor.
more.
Talk to your doctor. This isn't medical advice. Blah 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 blah. Whatever the YouTube jargon is that I need to say there. But yeah, yeah. If you want, text me. I can tell you
Okay.
what's good and all that. All right. Next question. When you think about your journey from volleyball league to the big life changes, what's one piece of advice you've given others that you'd give others about finding their own way to keep moving forward?
Um, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I'm known for giving my friends that they absolutely love to tell me is, um, they're like, Allison, you always say this, you always say this.
Mm,
And it's to be real
mm,
and to be authentic. And
yeah,
I know that I keep saying it like it's almost a broken record at this point, but it was such a big journey for me
yeah,
and so eye opening to
yeah,
just be real with somebody.
yeah,
Um, Specifically the friends that I have were navigating post divorce dating.
yeah,
And so that authentic journey of how to navigate that specifically is kind of where I've given them the most help.
Mhm.
Is just navigating that and being authentic and real and just making sure that they just that they're finding what makes them happy in the right way
Yeah.
and that they're seeing it the right way. Yes.
Yeah, so speaking of being real and authentic, I think that's easy to say, hard to put into action.
Yeah.
So, like, opening up to people also could backfire, right? Like, you could open up to somebody who maybe isn't meant to be in your life,
Yeah.
and then they just cut you down, and that maybe will make someone cagier as far as, like, letting that out, and
Yeah.
so, like, how does that, like, any action that you can think of to, like, figure out how to do that better?
I mean, that is probably the root of all of my fear of why I was so curated
Yeah.
and not authentic was the fear of how will this be used against me?
Right,
How can this hurt me?
right,
Um, and I found the biggest thing is I would be vulnerable. I would be real with somebody, a friend, anybody. I would have a moment where I chose to be the real Allison.
mm,
And then afterwards, it would feel like an exposed nerve. And I was waiting and
right,
waiting for them to retaliate, to use it against me. And sitting in that uncomfortableness is really like the best advice that I could give is to just sit there
mm,
because your immediate, at least my immediate reaction is when the nerve was exposed and I was panicking that I was going to be hurt, is I would then try to backpedal and fix and be like, this wasn't actually what I was saying. Like,
mm,
no, 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 that's not real. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Just sit in it
yeah,
because they're probably like most of the people that I've opened up to and formed those with. Um, I've at least, I don't want to say like evaluated, but I've at least gotten to the point with them where I feel like, okay, they're probably not going to use this against me. And then they
yeah,
prove that they haven't, that they
yeah,
don't.
right,
So the reward pays off.
yeah,
I don't think I mean, there's probably been a few people where I've opened up and they haven't reacted the right way.
mhm,
And then I'm just like, okay, like I know for next time, like don't go to that level with them.
mm, yeah,
Or,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I think that's like there's probably an age-old saying that I'm not thinking about, but, like, it sounds like you ran towards that fear instead of avoiding that fear.
yeah,
And I think anybody's going through in life, if you're letting fear control you, that needs to be evaluated, and that's a problem.
yeah. Just sit in it for a second. Sit in each
Yeah.
emotion that you feel,
Mhm.
good or bad. Just like sit in it
Yeah.
and just experience it. And
Right.
I mean, not to be like hippie-ish about it, but like, how cool is it to experience that fear and that vulnerable nerve? Because I mean, you're doing life.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool that, I don't know, that you get to experience it. I think that's more of like a high level, like, view of it all, of just like, even the bad, you get to experience it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't. Just
Yeah.
sit in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you do sit in that, I think there's something called mindfulness that, like, you just approach it with curiosity, like, "I wonder what happens if I do this?"
Yeah.
Uh, like, with my weight loss journey, I'm OMADing, so it's 1 meal a day, and, obviously, sometimes I'll get hungry, and you can sit in that and be like, "Oh, I wonder how long I'll be hungry for.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will pass. I wonder, and then you can ideate. So, like, if like, chug some water, that'll help, or something like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
that's
really just
interesting.
like sitting in that uncomfortable
Hmm.
and just like I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
just sit in it.
yeah,
It's okay
yeah.
to experience that discomfort,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's almost more powerful to come out on the other side of it, cuz I bet in those moments when you choose to just chug the water and not eat,
Yeah.
you're like, I did it.
Yeah.
When you're finally able to eat, you're like, I did it.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel guilty for this. Or I told my partner how I felt about a situation and they listened.
Mm,
I did it.
yeah.
They
Right.
didn't. So it's just sit in it, be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah, I think a lot of people in today's world, especially with internet and TikTok and YouTube and all that, one of the things that people don't like to sit in is boredom.
Yeah.
And I think that's from what I've heard, some people say that boredom sparks creativity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of things that I'm sure people just need to sit in and just like get used to it or
Just experience it.
just yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Experience life.
Mm-hmm.
Even the bad, even the good, just experience it.
Yeah.
It's your only, this is your first life too. This is
Mm-hmm.
your first life. This is my first life. Like,
Yeah.
let's just experience it and
Yeah.
be thankful that we get to experience it.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So we got pretty deep there. I want to lighten the mood.
Okay.
We're gonna get into the wheelie bad jokes segment that I have. So how it works is I'm gonna tell you a corny joke.
Okay.
I want you to rate it. And if you have a corny joke, which it sounds like from talking that you don't, you can tell me one back. But
Okay.
at the very least, rate it.
Okay.
And I try to gear these towards the person as much as possible. And so I do not have a child, but it starts off with my son. So here it is. It's my son was chewing on electrical cords. Hold on, let me start over. My son was chewing on electrical cords, so I grounded him. He's doing better currently and conducting himself properly.
That is amazing. Fantastic.
This was a Logan Lyle. I say this every episode, but Logan Lyle, he's this guy on the internet. All he does is sit on the dock, this dock, and they have these coffee mugs. Sometimes during the winter months, they're filled with snow,
Yeah.
and they just tell dad jokes, and they try not to laugh, but then
Yes.
they do takeaways and all that. Have you heard of them?
I've seen those.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's hysterical. So I get most of my dad jokes from him. So go follow him if you guys want. So all right. So rate that.
Oh gosh, I would say 10 out of 10. No, I mean,
Gosh.
that was a zinger.
Yes.
I did like all of them. That was good.
That's awesome.
Multiple jokes in one.
Yeah, it was. It was a 3-parter or something like that. So maybe 4-parter. Yeah, there's four jokes in there. Anyway, yeah, so it's interesting because I've been I just incorporated this segment probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 episodes ago, and the ratings actually keep getting better. And so it's like, okay. I think last podcast I did, the rating was like 8 or 7 out of 10. I'm like, that's the best I'm ever gonna get. Now you've rated it a 10 out of 10. Like, okay. You don't like dad jokes mostly though, right? Did I hear that?
It's not that I don't like them. I'm terrible at
Okay.
delivery.
Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah, okay.
My
Well,
joke telling will ruin the most perfect joke. If I had delivered that joke, terrible.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just not the cadence,
right,
the humor. I
right.
don't possess it.
Okay, all
Some
right.
people don't have that.
Yeah, I love dad jokes. All my shirts are like puns and stuff like that. So, all right. So let's get on to the next segment. Thanks for rating that a 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
I don't know how it's gonna get
That's
better.
my positive, kind, sweet self. It's like, that's a 10 out of 10, honey. You did great.
Yeah,
That's me
yeah.
doing that for you.
Yeah. It's the best joke she's ever heard.
Honestly. It's currently the best joke I've ever heard. Yes.
Yeah. It's currently. Did you
I
see what
did
you did there?
I was hoping that it would work too if I did it. I'm
That's
so happy.
great.
I told a joke finally.
Yes.
Big moment.
Well, that counts as you telling a corny joke back. So, okay, let's get into a little bit about who you are. So,
Okay.
starting off with volleyball, can you tell us a bit about how you got involved with your volleyball league and what it means to you?
Yeah. This has been a huge undertaking that I have found so much joy in over the past couple of years. So, like I said, I have a daughter who is 13.
Mm.
And so she's currently in 7th grade. Back when she was in, I want to say it was maybe like 3rd, 4th grade. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm off on my timelines. When she was around 4th grade, so about 3 years ago, she started doing the club volleyball scene,
Okay.
which is, we travel, we pay a ton of money. They go and they do the tournaments. Um, and I sat there with one of the other moms and we were at an event and there was poor communication. overall, it wasn't a good experience for the girls, for the athletes, for us as parents.
Mm.
And we looked at each other and we said, we could do this better.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody, they get stuck in a situation like I could run this better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we decided to put our money where our mouth was, and we decided to try to run it better.
Awesome.
So she kind of took the reins on figuring out, the club name and kind of what the vision of it would be. So she runs it, and then I help her run it with the more logistical side of
Mm.
securing the training facilities, helping with our coaching staff.
Mm.
And it's really taught me, I mean, so much just in life, general business knowledge of running a business, getting it off the ground, things we didn't know about.
Yeah.
The general management side, managing the different coaches and the schedules and the facilities and the athletes.
Yeah.
And then just, I mean, every coach, every person that works with young athletes, I mean, you see the skill and the smiles and the kids that just they want to work on something and then they do it. So you see those stories of just
Mm.
resilience and overcoming and just, great opportunities for them to showcase their skills.
Yeah.
All of it. It's been a huge passion project that I would say, my director's leading the way in terms of the vision of the club, and then me just kind of like getting to not go along for the ride, but just like get to experience it in a different capacity. It's been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And for those who don't know Allison, Allison is a very detail oriented person.
Yeah.
So just as an example, you asked me for the questions in advance, which most people don't do. And I'm trying to figure that cadence out. Like, I do want an element in some sense of like thinking like just a live reaction, but I also want to like for the more difficult questions, I do want people to think about it and really give an answer. So like one of the only questions that I'll usually give out is like what keeps you rolling forward, because that's not a really common question that you get answered. So you might need to think about it a little bit. So, but anyway, Allison had like a Word doc, and she has her phone with an outline of her answers and all that. So I think that's great that you're kind of like that behind the scenes person and helping out
Yeah.
and doing those things. So
And I would say it's very much similar to you and I.
mm,
My counterpart, she is big picture, the dreamer,
mm,
she has a vision. And I mean, she's able to accomplish those.
yeah,
But I feel like I'm more the one that's more able to keep the OneNote together, keep
yeah,
the stuff, keep the meeting minutes, keep all
right,
of that. And I think you need that, right?
yeah,
Especially we were finding out to run a business. You need the big picture, someone that's going to drive the club forward. And then you need someone that's going to help you actually do it.
yeah, yeah,
And it's been a really good balance of those two personalities, similar to you and I, of
yeah.
how we work and how we envision and how we accomplish those goals.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Did you start this pre-divorce or post-divorce?
This was started post-divorce.
Okay.
This was one of those, serendipitous moments.
Yeah.
After the divorce, we had to switch my daughter's volleyball team,
Mhm.
just due to some logistical things. And on this team, I met, my counterpart. And if it had not been for everything that led up to that moment, I would have never been on this team. I never
Yeah.
would have met her, and none of this would have come to fruition.
Wow. Yeah.
And I do think about that again, finding joy in life's messiness.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this club, and I wouldn't have I mean, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing if I hadn't taken those pivots that had happened to me, whether I
Yeah.
wanted them to happen or not. Something really beautiful came from it, this club.
Yeah. Interesting. There's a Alex Hormozy clip that talks about it's basically like a Japanese fable or something like that. I'm butchering this, but it's basically like a son got disabled, and all the townspeople said to the father like, "Oh my gosh, that's so horrible," and the dad said, "We'll see," and then a war starts and he doesn't get recruited to the war, and they're like, "Oh, that's so awesome that he can't get recruited to go battle or whatever and potentially die in this war." And then the dad says, "We'll see," and so on and so forth. So it's interesting, like in the moment things like that feel absolutely horrible, and they are
Mhm.
horrible, but they do open up different doors that are
Yes.
kind of fascinating that you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, I didn't expect to be here.
I do not think if you would have asked me pre-divorce, do you think you'll ever run a junior sand volleyball league? I would have never, no, I
Yeah.
have no experience
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
Um, and how lucky am I that I get to now?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's always something good coming from the bad. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah,
It
me too.
does suck when you go through it. I mean, it is rough. You
Mhm.
go through some really deep valleys,
Mhm.
but you come out and you got these beautiful views now.
Yeah, yeah. I wanna switch gears just briefly.
Yeah.
One of the things that's been on my mind a lot is failure. And what I mean by that is fear of failure, right?
Hmm.
And it's interesting. We were kind of talking about fear earlier as well. And one of the things that I did a lot in my 20s was I avoided committing to things
Hmm.
because I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to commit to it and then mess up. And I think in society a lot of depression happens because people aren't taking those leaps. And so I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on I guess on failure in general and like I okay, so let me say this as well. I'm looking at failure now as a good thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm not failing, I'm not learning, I'm not growing,
Yeah.
I'm not taking the chances that I need to take in my life to live a satisfying life.
Hmm.
Can you just
I mean,
whatever's on your mind with
I
that?
completely agree with that.
Yeah.
You have to take those chances. And I think it's almost better. And I really hope that I've kind of instilled this in my kids as well.
Mm,
It's almost better to take the chance and get it wrong
yeah.
and learn from it because you're
Yeah.
going to learn so much more
Yeah.
than if you just get it right the first time.
Yeah.
Because you build your resilience. You see that there's beauty. I mean, it's so big picture, but like there's beauty in the failure.
Mm,
Like if you try to start the business and it fails, if you decide you're going to switch careers, you're going to switch jobs and it fails. Again, in the moment, it's messy and it's ugly, but then you get to come out on the other side and just be like, wow, look what I've overcome. And you
yes.
learned so much that you wouldn't have known before.
Mm,
There's so much knowledge out there.
yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's a great mindset,
Yeah.
but it is very scary
Yeah.
when you're faced with that uncertainty that you're at the edge and you just don't know, like, do I take it or not? That is very scary. And I
Mm,
think you have to really trust what's going to happen if I fall.
yeah.
Who's there to help pick me up?
Yeah.
What are my, and then you just take the leap.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It ties so much into what we were talking about before we started the podcast, which
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about yet, but yeah, that's fascinating. Okay, so more about volleyball. Can you take us back to the very beginning? Well, you kind of told us about, but I'll see if you have anything else. What sparked the idea for starting it? The starting the league in the first place. Well, you kind of already mentioned that. So
Hmm.
do you have anything else to add or we can move on to the next question?
Um, no, I think we talked about it. We
Okay.
really just decided, looking at our daughters, that we wanted to try to run it differently
Yeah.
and better. And I think we were able to
Mhm.
definitely run it differently.
Okay. What were some of the biggest challenges in getting it off the ground? And let me ask this question because it's a little deeper question. There was a league already started, and
Hmm.
you guys said we can do it better.
Hmm.
Um, how did I'm curious if there was any tension between that league and you all.
Good question. So I would say the first part of the question, like what's
Mhm.
the hardest part of the things about running a new club? We found out that sponsorships and brand reputation was huge.
Mm.
When you Google search what you want to do, our club doesn't come up. When you Google
Ah,
search sand volleyball, if you are scrolling on Instagram and you see sponsored things this is probably not curated to you,
mm,
but when you see sponsored ads for junior sand volleyball leagues or tournaments,
yeah.
you're not seeing our club.
I get those ads all the
I
time.
bet
It's
you
so
do,
annoying.
right? All the
Yeah,
tournaments.
yeah.
And just finding out, how do we do that? How do
Yeah,
we make it so that our name is out there?
yeah.
And so the particular club that we were playing for was an indoor club,
Mhm.
and this is a sand club. So this is outdoor. So it is a different breed essentially of
Okay.
volleyball.
Yeah.
So with that club, there wasn't anything.
Mhm.
It's, apples and oranges, really. There's a volleyball involved. That's about it.
Mhm.
We have found that there are other competing clubs out there, and it's so good to form good relationships with them. I shouldn't say competing clubs out there. There are other clubs out there that really kind of showed us the ropes.
Oh.
There's not a lot of junior sands club in the Westchester, Cincinnati area.
Mhm.
And so the first year, we just wrapped up our third season, our third year of running this league because it's a summer session.
Mhm.
The first year, we had to travel all the way to Indianapolis and down to Louisville to
Oh.
have our athletes that we were training here in Cincinnati compete in these tournaments.
Oh.
And when we went to these clubs, especially my counterpart, she is the I personality. She can befriend anybody, and she does. And she's formed really good relationships with those clubs.
Mm.
They gave us great information, great insight on the logistical side, how to run this, how to do this, how your athletes should train, what a training should look like, how many coaches.
Mhm.
They have been instrumental to getting us off the ground that first year.
Yeah.
The second year, we built on what they showed us.
Yeah.
And this past year, instead of our athletes having to go to these far off locations, we were able to have them compete here on our courts for those
Great.
same tournaments. And that is all
Awesome.
because we've had those people supporting us.
Mhm.
We haven't really come across anybody that's been, I think I'd used the word earlier, competition. There
Mhm.
hasn't really been any competition. It's just been
Okay.
other clubs that offer the same thing, and just kind of figuring out how do we have this like symbiotic relationship so our athletes are able to train at all of them, because
Yeah.
there's no reason they can't, especially if they're into sand. It's such a rare sport these days.
Right.
There's not a lot. So if we have an athlete that's really good and really interested, they can train with us. They can train with you. They can train here. They can train there. Because the
Okay.
ultimate goal is we want to get them to nationals down in Florida, or we
Yeah.
want to get them to nationals out in California. And we want this athlete to succeed.
Yeah.
That is a big part of our club that we wanted to make sure was known, is
Mhm.
we're all about that athlete. We are not,
Mm.
I don't want 150 athletes on the sand. I don't want 17 coaches. I don't want 4 training facilities.
Right.
I want 30 kids that I'm taking really good care of and I'm investing in,
Right.
and I want them to make it and to succeed. And even
Yeah.
if they are not going to make it to nationals and win, they're going to learn something. They're going to learn
Yeah.
with our coaches, our individual coaching. They're going to learn
Mhm.
something. And that was very important to us.
Mm. That's fascinating. Yeah, with Cincinnati Tennis Foundation, it's very very similar. Like I want the exact same thing. I want them to learn things, and I want them to take things outside of the tennis foundation, what they learn there,
Hmm.
and apply it to everyday life
Yeah.
and all that. So
Oh, sorry.
go ahead, no, go ahead.
One of the things that we made a part of our training stuff that we have done every year for 3 years that I think is very important is we have like a theme each week of like different mindsets. So this week
Mhm.
it's going to be teamwork. This
Mm,
week it's going to be resiliency. This week it's going to be something else. And we've got a theme each week. And our trainings are, for the full week. Even though
yeah,
we have multiple sessions, it's a week long theme,
sure.
because we want the athletes and we want the parents, we want everybody to know that, I mean, and this is my viewpoint. This is not my coaches. This is not, my director.
Yeah.
My viewpoint is I want you to be a good person and a good human.
Yes.
And so I want you to learn, like, and this is probably crazy coming from somebody that runs a sand volleyball league, but I don't care if you hit your serve over or not. I
Yeah.
don't care if you get the pass or not.
Yeah.
Your coaches care.
Mhm.
Your fellow athletes care. I don't care.
Mhm.
Did you try? Did you care? Did you have a failure on the court and get up and be like, all right, I'm going to learn from it? Or did you yell at your teammate?
Yeah.
That's what I care about.
Right.
I want to build a league that builds good humans. They produce good humans, the good athletes.
Yeah.
And maybe they're really good at their sand stuff too, but I just want them to be good people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I can give that at all to them, if they could just be like, oh my gosh, that one time Coach Allison said this and it sticks with them and it's good,
Mhm.
great. I've
Yeah.
done something amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, I like to foster in addition to everything that you said, in the disabled kid community, independence is a big one,
Hmm.
right? And so like getting your wheelchair in your car, or like just being able to carry your own racket or push your own tennis chair while you're in your everyday chair and stuff like that. So it's incredible how and we'll get into this I think in a little bit, but it's incredible how much parents almost how much more parents will coddle a disabled child.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but yeah, there's a lot of correlation. We do those theme words as well, and
Yeah,
um, yeah, we want them to be good sports, good people, and all that.
and
So
maybe be good athletes too.
yeah,
And that's why we did the small club.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
want good athletes. I don't
mhm,
want I'm sorry, I shouldn't say I want good athletes. Um I just want to be able to like pour good into these athletes and
and if they have the opportunity to be
amazing
really good, then
athletes even
you can
better.
open that door for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've got great coaches that'll do that.
that's awesome. How many people are in this league? Like, how many kids approximately? How many, like,
Yeah.
I guess, coaches and
Um
all that?
so one of our biggest things like when we were creating the club, our vision was small.
Mm,
I'm sure you've seen it in your tennis community that there are some leagues that are just 150 athletes. They've got training from 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10,
mhm.
trainings of different ages, different skill ranges, all of that
Yeah,
stuff. They're big clubs.
yeah.
We never wanted that was never our vision. Our vision was small numbers. So I think we cap it at like 30.
Whoa.
We keep it very small, and that's overall. So we
30
offer
kids?
30, yep, that's
Okay.
it. We have a couple different age ranges because it's juniors. So we've got like the 12, the 14, and so on. So
Okay.
each age we cap at around 30
Mm,
at most. And I've only got 5 coaches
yeah.
that I've got on a rotation,
Okay.
and that's it. And it's just, we like to have a really good ratio of at least hopefully 2 coaches on the sand. And on a given night, we'll have anywhere from maybe like 12 to 16 girls. We
Yeah.
offer so many training sessions that it would almost be impossible for all 30 of them to come to one training
Yeah.
session.
Yeah.
And just having that one on one coaching ability of the coach, the athlete, they're talking,
Mm,
and it's not them just spewing like different movements to the girls
yeah.
or to the athletes. It's more of a one on one, face to face. This is how the technical side is. This is how you could use your hand, your elbow,
Mm,
and that's what we want because that's something that we were seeing as we were in these bigger indoor clubs is we didn't want the athletes to just be a number.
yeah.
They're not just payroll, something going into our bank account. They are, their name is Susie.
Mm,
These are their parents. This
mhm.
is their siblings that come. This is where they go to school. We
Mhm.
know everything about all these kids. We follow their parent. Like we become a little bit of a mini family almost over the
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah.
And the more the parents and the athletes invest in us, the more we pour into them. To
Yeah.
the like at the end of the season, it's almost like withdrawal because you don't see these people all week long.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the club that we want. That's the vision. Is it's more about the athlete than the number.
Yeah. How do you select for the 30 kids?
We would never select or cut. It would just be
Oh,
if we ever got near the cap limit, we would probably just open it up to more if
okay.
we were ever lucky enough to
Yeah.
really have that need of
Mm,
people. I feel like the only reason we would ever make any transitions or shifts would be just coaching,
yeah.
and it would probably be more of a we're going to only be able to limit how many girls can come on this night, how many athletes can come on
Mhm.
this night, but
Yeah.
we would never. We did talk about like skill level rankings and things like that. But at the end of the day, why does one get different than another? Just
Yeah.
everybody get coached. And if your skills level is different than another, that's
Mhm.
why I've got so many coaches on the sand. They can pull you aside and get you to a different level more
Yeah.
so than saying, you're not quite there yet. You're going to be over here.
Right.
No, just be on the sand.
Right.
That's why I've got coaches. That's why I've got this club around you. That's why
Yeah.
we've got 30 athletes because we're investing in you.
Mm, interesting. Okay.
I mean, we are a nonprofit. Like we're not out to
Sure.
make, so it is kind of the benefit of that is we get to keep it small and we get to keep it very,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure we would also love to have tons of athletes that we're pouring into, but
Right.
logistically, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So I run an advanced and a beginners group in tennis, and we've actually tried in some scenarios, we will mingle the able-bodied kids with the wheelchair kids,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm curious what your perspective on this is, having everybody together. Um, by the way, it's both guys and girls
Mm-hmm.
in the league, right? It's not just women or men
Are you
or
talking about my
yeah,
league?
yours.
We offer it, yeah, to boys and girls.
And are they different sessions or are they together?
Nope.
Okay,
They're all in
interesting.
together.
Okay. So anyway, going back to the beginner and an advanced, and in the mingling with able-bodied kids, some of my littler kids who may play tennis with, or who don't currently play tennis with the able-bodied kids, they can't necessarily go get down and pick up the ball. They struggle moving their chair at this point. And so one of our thought processes is like, we don't want to hurt the experience of an able-bodied person who might be able to get that ball. We want this person to be completely independent
Mhm.
before that person joins the league, if that makes any sense. Um, and so like part of the again part of that logic is, yeah, we want the kids experience in a wheelchair to be good, but we also want the kid, if they're rallying against somebody, we don't want them to take like an excessive amount of time getting a ball or
Yeah.
whatever else, right? So we want that able-bodied kids experience to be good as well. Um and you said that all different experience levels are kind of at this.
Mhm.
um and so has that crossed your mind as far as like it altering the experience, or I can imagine in volleyball you might partner them up in different groups because there's
Mhm.
probably multiple nets, and so you have the more beginner players on one net. You might have them intermingle just so that they can see,
Yeah.
like in tennis, they can see the pace of the ball, for example, or
Yeah.
something like that. So
See the gameplay.
yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely had those moments where we have athletes of different skill levels out there,
Mm.
and we're looking at, doing a scrimmage,
Hmm.
or doing like a gameplay scenario, and just, I think over the years we've kind of changed our mindset year over year of how that looks, and I think, each year it's developing because, like you said, like
Yeah.
you don't want to take away the experience from the more experienced players of elevating their game.
Yes.
um, but I also don't want the person that's maybe not at that level to feel like
They
to just
can't.
feel that shame or that
Yeah.
like embarrassment of just like, I'm not good enough. I can't be over there.
Mm.
So trying to find that balance each year has been difficult. I know one year we were really hands on with it,
Mm.
with picking who was with who and how it was going to work,
Yeah.
and trying to make sure that everything was evenly matched in terms of skill level.
Yeah.
And that was exhausting.
Yeah.
And that was really difficult to have those conversations when an athlete wasn't where they thought they were, or
Yeah.
their parents thought that they would be, and we have a different perspective. That's I don't
Right.
as a club that's talking about we want everybody to succeed, it feels weird to have that
Sure.
conversation. So that was something that we kind of were like, no, we're not going to do that moving forward.
Yeah.
This year we were more hands off, and it just kind of we let it naturally play out of the different skill levels,
Yeah.
and it was a little bit more symbiotic. We saw a lot of the more experienced athletes were able to boost up the play of the not as experienced ones. And
Yeah.
again, I had my coaches out there that were able to see where somebody could use some extra help, and were able to give it to them,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah. Yeah, we do, the what I said about the tennis isn't necessarily the full story, right? So
Mhm.
we do have like a almost a mentorship program where like the older kids will help out with the little kids, or the able-bodied players might help out with the wheelchair group,
Yeah,
or some things along those lines. So yeah, that's awesome. I like that structure. It sounds like it's evolving and all that.
always evolving. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're not evolving, I mean, then
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, right. Um, anything else about volleyball or anything like that before we move on to talking about your kids?
I don't think so.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so the first question I have about you about kids is, how have kids influenced the way you approach life and the decisions you've made along the way?
Man.
Can you real quick, just for the viewer,
Yeah.
how old are your kids again?
So I have a 13-year-old girl and an 18-year-old boy.
Got it.
And my 18-year-old, he has graduated from high school. So
Mm,
he graduated at 17 and then
nice.
turned 18. So he is out of high school and navigating the world.
Nice.
Could you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah,
That
sorry. How have your kids influenced the way you approached life and the discussions you've made along the way?
Yeah. Thank you. I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing that has been kind of my driving force with them is, what do I want my kids to see or learn from this?
Mm.
They're seeing I mean, I think I'm very cognizant of the fact that who I am and how I react in a situation, my kids are going to absorb and they're going to then do.
Mm.
And so, I mean, I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
obviously, but being cognizant of the fact of what do I want them to see? What do I want them to learn from this? Seeing their mom overcome a big life shift
Mhm.
and seeing the real connections, the real friendships, the real life that I've developed afterwards.
Mm.
That is what I want them to see. I want them to see the beauty that I have grown from the bad in my life is just and I really hope that they see that. And even when they were younger, just being cognizant of the fact of like, what can I show them is the positive coming out of this? And it's probably almost to the extreme of like, okay, not everything is this beautiful and rainbowy, but just trying to make them see like the positive in it all and really hoping they see the beauty that I've created around us and around me
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. That's awesome. Um, Side question. We were talking about that mask earlier.
Hmm.
And I feel like around kids specifically, you probably have to have a different mask on,
Yeah.
right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
How do you find that balance of authenticity and
Man, that's a good
that
question.
mask? Yeah.
So obviously when kids are younger, you just have the filter of they're a kid, I'm an adult. I have the luxury now that my kids are a little bit older.
Yeah.
And I think being real and authentic and mask off around my kids within limits, they don't need to know all the nitty gritty life of an adult,
Right.
has really been helpful for me as well. In the sense of I was able to look at myself and say, my dorky laugh, my ridiculous jokes, my silly hair in the morning, like my zombie-ish walk to get coffee.
Yeah.
These are all things that my kids see and my God, they love me anyways.
Yeah.
They don't care. And I
Right.
was able to look at that perspective and say, then like if there's somebody meant to be in my life, they're going to see all these little quirky things about me
Yeah.
and they're still going to love me.
Yeah.
And that was really beneficial because I, for the most part, am mask off around the kids, especially my 18-year-old. I mean, he's an adult,
Yeah.
again, within limits because he's still my son. Just being able to be real with the conversations and just be like, man, life really hit me hard these past couple weeks. Like this is, I've been really struggling, and slowly introducing those kind of conversations with my daughter as well,
Mm.
leading to more um, intentional connection with her instead of just, hey, how was your day? I'm like, listen, like I have this thing going on with this friend where I feel like they're kind of not being fully real with me. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I want to even approach it with them or not. Like, what would you do if your friend was
Right.
if acting this way? And I mean,
Right.
I get to have that conversation with my 13-year-old and
That's
it's
awesome.
within the parameters of she's 13.
Mm.
And it's really led to, in my opinion, and hopefully theirs, a more connected bond between, me and my kids that
Yeah.
hopefully is intentional and good.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you have a favorite? Do you have any favorite activities or traditions you share with them that really keep your family connected?
Man, this is another great, like really good timed question.
Okay.
So me and the kids, we love amusement parks. We
Oh.
love roller coasters and rides. And here in the Cincinnati area, there is Kings Island.
Mm.
We are season pass holders.
Nice.
My son is he's drifted off a little bit because he's 18. He's got friends. He's got a job. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when he was younger and now my daughter, as soon as Kings Island's open in the spring to when it closes in the winter, we are there. We are
Mm.
riding the same rides over and over again. We're walking the same parts of the park again. When we want to have friends and we want to have engagement with the people around us, we say, let's go to Kings Island.
Mm.
And we walk and we stand in these lines for 30, 40 minutes to get on a ride. And we're talking to those people and we're having connections. And I'm going on the ride. And again, mask off. I am making crazy faces and doing silly things for the camera.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
Yeah.
And so the good timing of it is this past weekend, the reason we had to actually delay our recording by 1 week
Mhm.
is last weekend, my daughter turned 13. And for
Oh,
her
yay.
birthday, she wanted to go to Cedar Point up north.
Oh.
So we
Have you
kind
been
of,
there?
that was my first time since the
Okay.
early 2000s.
Okay. Okay.
Was going there. So we spent the whole weekend. So we went up on Friday night, me and my two kids.
Mm.
we spent the weekend, basically the entire time at Cedar Point,
Oh,
walking around and
fun.
riding everything and connecting. And I mean, that's how she wanted to spend her birthday, was going to Cedar Point.
That's awesome.
So that is our thing. That
Yeah,
is, and then in those amusement park months, we all just kind of stare at each other like, when they may know when Kings Island's opening
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we obviously do stuff, but I mean, that is the glue that
Yeah.
that is our connection, is the amusement parks. And um, a couple years ago, for for my son's big moment, one of his big moments in life, we went down to Kentucky Kingdom. And then, so that's an amusement park down in Kentucky.
Okay, okay.
We've gone to Dollywood, and then we just have plans to go to different parks. And my son is very big into, and he was, I don't know, I shouldn't speak for who he is now, but he was very big into roller coasters and amusement parks. He could tell me who built it,
Yeah.
what year it was built, what other similar parks have similar coasters. Like, he was very into it, which kind
Okay.
of, drew us into it.
Yeah.
So now I think we have focused on, okay, we're going to go to this park for this ride, and then we'll experience the rest of the park, but we're going for this ride or two.
Interesting.
And so that has been like, just, I mean, I think it's kind of a unique thing to our family, is the roller coasters. And I know that, um, even when they're with their dad, they get to go do all of this, because I think it's just something that's just ingrained in all of us for
Yeah.
years, is just like this passion of like, okay, this roller coaster at this park is ranked
Yeah.
#1 on people's lists. And we
Yeah.
go and we're like, yes, this is it. We're
That's
roller coaster
awesome.
people.
Cool.
And amusement park. I'm more amusement park. Like, I went to Cedar Point,
Yeah.
and the kids were like, look at this coaster, look at this. And I was like, look at the scenery.
Yeah.
Look at the like ambiance of this place. Look at the theming,
Yeah.
and look at the coaster. So
Right.
I was taking in just the full experience of
Mm.
being at the park.
Cedar Point's so cool because it's right along the water, and
Yeah.
like when you go up on the roller coaster, just like the views are just amazing.
Oh
So
man. So I have a fun story about
go
that.
ahead, yeah, please.
There's this one ride there. I'm probably gonna mispronounce it, and the kids, they were making fun of me because I kept calling it the wrong name. I think it's called Magnum,
Okay,
but I think
yeah.
I called it like Maverick and Moose. I was just calling up all these M words. But I think, and it might not be, but it was my experience, is that the ride is built in a way that you can't really see the track when you're on it. You just kind of have to experience it. You
Yeah.
didn't know where you were going.
Yeah.
So this was my first time on it. And again, the track is made to not really know what you're going to do next. So as we went up the hill, I'm looking at the water and the scenery, and I'm just taking it all in. I'm like, gosh, this is beautiful. Oh, we're almost at the top. This is great.
Yeah.
And then when we go down the hill and we start going, I realize, like, I don't really know what's coming next.
Yeah.
And with most of the roller coasters, I mean, especially at Kings Island, I know the turn, the stop, where the brakes are. I know where things are going to happen at, and I don't know what's happening. And I guess my face morphed from like happiness to like, and I mean, I'm getting shaken around, and I'm just making the craziest faces. And I'm riding with my son, and my daughter's in the row in front, and she's turning around, looking at me, laughing hysterically. My son is next to me. He is like bent over, and I realized, because he's laughing, because my face is just like pure terror, because I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
We're so high up, and all the other rides I was okay with, but for some reason on this one, I didn't know where we were going. So every turn I was like, ah,
Yeah.
ah, ah. The picture was crazy. And I got to have that moment with my kids where they were just
Yeah.
laughing and dying at me. And I'm just like terrified. And I'm like, God, I'm so embarrassed. And
Yeah.
it was such a good moment. Yeah, so that was one of my favorite moments from the trip, was just them joining together to laugh hysterically at mom being
That
so embarrassing and scared out of her mind. And I wasn't scared of the coaster. The coaster itself was a coaster.
Yeah.
It was the combination, and I was just making the crazy faces.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'll be honest, I was kind of leaning into the faces, because once I realized that they liked the
yeah.
faces, I was like, oh, the faces are about to get out of
All right,
control.
let's do it.
I'm gonna make the craziest faces. And
Right.
I did, and they loved it. And I loved it.
Yay. That's awesome. Wow. One thing as you were telling this story that I was thinking is, what that is so you to not know what's coming up and just be like, oh my gosh, and like you are someone that likes to have all the details of where you're going next and all that.
Yes.
And yeah, turning scared once you don't realize. And for anybody that doesn't know the Magnum, it's at least in the 2000s, it was Cedar Point's biggest roller coaster. I'm sure there's another one that's bigger, but like the first hill, you just go up and up and up,
Wow.
and then it just takes you on like a drop, and then it's just a ride from there. So
Insanity. And
yeah,
I mean, I think the part that was really throwing me was instead of seeing track or where we were going, I just saw water everywhere. So it
yeah,
looked like my daughter, who's in the row in front of me, was just going towards the water. And so that was just messing with my perception of what
yeah,
was happening.
yeah. Isn't there like a dark tunnel as
Hmm.
well? Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all. Well, yeah, that's interesting. So an interesting correlation is, I am in a like there's four kids in my family, an older brother, older sister, and then my younger brother. My younger brother is 10 years younger than me.
Oh, wow.
And so one of the things that we did when he was growing up is I would take him to Cedar Point and Kings Island and do all those things with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was just an interesting correlation. Like he's my brother, but he was also like, he's 10 years younger than me. So like, when I was 18, he was 8. So
Yeah.
we definitely had like a connection from like going to Kings Island and Cedar
Yeah.
Point.
I mean, I would highly recommend it to anybody of just,
Yeah,
I don't know, there's something special about it, and it sounds like you've got it, like, the heart of it too. It's just there's something special about going up through the
yeah,
lines and going through the International Street and just going through those fun coasters together.
yeah,
And I mean, I don't know what your conversations were, but we're always like, "This ride's better. No, this ride's better." And I'm
yeah,
like, "I like the scrambler." And they're like, "Mom, get out of here."
yeah, yeah,
It's the
yeah.
coaster conversation.
Right.
And I mean, just that joy and that fun, and that's just I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Yeah, one of the cool things, because I'm disabled, I couldn't go through the normal line.
Mhm.
There was oftentimes steps, and so the disabled pass, you'd go through the exits.
Mhm.
And at that time, they didn't have something where you'd go to the entrance and wait. For anybody that doesn't know, you basically get this disabled pass, and now when you go to amusement park, you go to the front. That person basically puts a time that you have to wait around the amusement park, and then you can come back through the
Mhm.
exit when that time happens. But in the earlier, like in the 2000s, they didn't have that.
Mm-mm.
So you could just go into the exit and then ride rides.
Yeah.
And we did that multiple times. So we probably got like 3 or 4 days worth of rides for
Yeah.
compared to like an average person when we went. Another funny story that we had, and I think this was when he was a little bit older. I don't know if it was Kings Island or Cedar Point, but he asked me one time. He's like, "Hey Zach, how can you deal with all these people staring at you when you're going through things in your
Wow.
wheelchair?" And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Cause like I'm born this way, and so I guess I'm used to people like looking at me. But
Yeah.
in a similar regard, like a wheelchair is not something that you see every day, and your mind is triggered to catch those nuances
Yeah.
in your day to day. So if you see a whole bunch of people walking towards you, and then all of a sudden a wheelchair pops out, you're gonna your attention draws to that because it's not a normal thing that is in your surroundings,
Mhm.
and that makes sense. And some people do it because they're curious as well, right? And so I asked my brother. I said, and he's 6'10", by the way. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
The 8-year-old is now 6'10"?
he's 6'10". He's 30. So,
Wow.
but I asked him. I said, Michael, just like have your hand on my shoulder and just tap me on the shoulder every single time you see someone staring at me. And he would just go boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm trying to like look around, like, who's looking at
You're
me
trying to
right
stare
now?
at them back.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was just a unique
Wow.
experience that we had there. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just don't notice it. So
Mhm. I've
um
never thought about it from that perspective of you have just grown up that way,
yeah.
especially it sounds like you've had a wheelchair since, you were able to,
Yeah.
um,
Basically.
of just, like, you've never known different, and
Mhm.
then I've never known where people don't, like every time I enter a room, people aren't, like, just their eyes don't flit to me.
Right.
I've never looked at it from that perspective of
Right.
you don't know differently.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's I just to set the record straight. Let's say I did crutches until fifth grade,
Oh, okay.
and then I got in a surgery. I've told this story before, so just a condensed version. I had a surgery. It put me in a wheelchair for a couple weeks, and then I realized that I could carry my own lunch tray, and I was a lot. I could keep up with my friends when they're running through the hallway. Someone could push me if I couldn't. So I was a lot more independent, and I get tired on crutches a lot
Yeah.
easier. So I transferred to a wheelchair from that point on because I was more independent. So,
Okay.
but yeah. Anyway, next question that I have for you: what's one piece of wisdom you hope to pass on to your kids as they grow up and face their own challenges?
Man.
I guess one of your kids is already grown up, but still
Yeah.
18 is young, a young adult. Like there's so many lessons that I've learned along since
He's
then.
still so young. Yeah. And you don't know who you are at 18.
Right.
You should never really know who you are. You should always be evolving, but he
Yeah.
definitely does not know who he is fully. Um, I would say the biggest thing that I want to pass on to them that I actually put on my daughter's mirror on a post-it note is you don't have to be perfect to be amazing.
Uh,
I love that quote. I read it years ago. And I forget where, so I apologize. I'm sure somebody might know the source, but I
yeah.
remember reading that and really wanting to pass that on to my kids. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. And I think that's something that I didn't learn until later in life. And I think that's kind of the cycle of life is you don't learn it, you teach it and whatever. But
Mm. Yeah.
I just really want to pass that on to them of, your perfection has no outcome on your worth,
Mm.
how perfect you are. And I really, especially for my daughter, um, I think it's going to be a little bit different for her navigating the next couple years than it was for my son. Just
Yeah.
different personalities, different times, just different everything.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, yeah, you don't have to be perfect to be
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great quote. I actually had a friend I was talking basically about this the other day. So I'm gonna definitely share that quote with them. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. That's great. Wow. There's a lot of different directions I can go.
Yeah.
Um, I do have one question about so you're a little bit younger than me. You don't have to say your age or anything, but you are a little bit younger than me. But I think we both grew up without much social media,
Yeah.
and all that. So my question about that is like, in regards to like your kids
Hmm.
and navigating that and growing up on social media today,
Yeah.
like. How do you what's your philosophy, I guess, behind that?
Um, I mean, I will say it's very different for each of my kids because even my kids are 5 years apart. Even in
Yeah.
that 5 year span, it's developed a lot in that 5 years.
Yeah.
And my son likes to point out to me the inconsistencies with the parenting styles between our
Yes.
approach with him and my approach with my daughter. Um, I think I don't really, let me see if I can say this the right way. My
Mhm.
daughter, she is on social media. She has those. It's something that we do struggle with. Um, More so of the influence that it has on her, more
Yeah.
so than her seeing something or being exposed to stuff.
Mm.
I more worry about the influence or what's going to happen to her because of the content that she sees, more
Right.
so than she'll see something that she shouldn't. But like, what is the general theme of her social media influence, and then is that affecting her?
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of the thing that I'm navigating
Mm.
is, and I think at least for my daughter's generation is they're not, at least she's not going online and meeting random people and all of this stuff. It's more just her friends and
Yeah.
um, that keyboard warrior or keyboard, what is it called when they hide behind the keyboard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep I don't know.
But when that mentality of like the hive mentality and, they get behind the keyboard and they don't have to be real. So
Yeah.
watching her navigate that and then helping her figure that out as well. Just kind of, I do have to fully accept and embrace that social media is a part of the teenage experience.
Right.
Um, and just kind of trying to help her navigate it is
Mm.
very difficult. But my viewpoint is it does exist. She has it. And we're trying to manage what that looks like and ever evolving what that looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of parent that's like, you're not going to have it. Like, I get it.
Mm.
It's going to exist, and we have to figure out how to do it in a responsible way.
Yeah, I want to ask your opinion about Snapchat specifically, but before I do that, if there's a parent listening that is curious, that maybe has a new kid, or like a younger kid that they're thinking about letting on social media or something like that,
Yeah.
um, and they're concerned, what advice can you give that parent who is concerned? Like whether that be like, hey, trust your kid, which I don't know that I would do necessarily, but or something like, hey, I actually have on my phone monitoring and
Hmm.
this is what I use, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. One of the things that my daughter and I do is she has the social media app. So she has Snapchat.
Mm,
Um, and I don't remember how we set it up, but it's on my phone and
mm,
it's my account.
okay.
And she also has it signed in on her phone. So all the notifications, all of the messages, everything that's all of her friends list, I can go on the app on my phone. I don't have to take her phone. I can
Yeah.
go in the app on my phone and see what's going on.
Oh.
So that way, and she's aware, and she's actually told her friends, like, hey, my mom monitors this. So, like, don't send me stuff that
Yeah.
I shouldn't get.
Mm,
Um, and so Snapchat also has like a phone call feature.
mm,
And so I will, anytime she gets an incoming call from a group chat or from her friends, I see who's calling. And if it's somebody that I'm not familiar with, or if I see her talking and sending snaps to somebody, I just go to her and we have
yeah.
that conversation. And it's just kind of made known between her and I. Like, I will ask questions.
Right.
I'm involved in this.
Right.
As of right now, she doesn't have the other social medias,
Okay.
not for lack of trying or for want, but we're navigating it with Snapchat
Yeah.
and trying to go through that.
So
So that would be my advice, is figure out how I did it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
of
Right.
having it signed in on both phones. So that way there's no secrecy or some things that she's hiding in the app. Now,
Right.
navigating the app as an adult, I am still, I feel,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand now why my parents look at me and say, can you help me with this? I
Right.
get it, because I don't understand technology,
Right.
unfortunately, the
Right.
ever evolving technology.
So if one of her friends sends a picture on Snapchat, can you open it
Hmm.
and see it and then it stays like like oftentimes when you send a picture on Snapchat, it goes away after you look at it.
Yes. So
So
I will not see the pictures that they send,
okay.
like, unless I go in there and view it first.
Yeah. But then it
Um,
goes away for her.
Yeah, then it goes away for her,
Okay.
and I don't care. She missed a picture.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, I'm looking at the conversations because they do type messages in between.
Mm,
Um, so I'm looking at those conversations, and then I'm
yeah.
looking at who are the conversations with, and if it's a name I'm not familiar with, I'm getting proof of that she knows them, and that is a known is if she's not physically face to face met this person, she
Mm,
can't be friends with them.
yeah.
Something that I did notice, and I don't know if you're familiar with this with the new age of kids, is if they meet each other, like say we're at Kings Island
Mm,
and you see somebody that you're interested in, you'd walk up and say, hey, can I get your Snapchat?
yes.
And then you guys, like, you're friends on Snapchat.
Mm,
And so I've made her aware that that is not an option. We're like, you
mm,
know, the people that are on your friends list are at school, they're
yeah.
on the bus, they are not like people that you meet, like, because she's old enough now that she can go do independent things. She can go to the mall. She can
Yeah.
go out with her friends to a farm. She can, go do these things. And if she meets people along the way, they're they're not allowed to be a part of your life in the social media aspect.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. Like when we were growing up, it was like if I mean, I guess in the age of cell phones, like I didn't have a cell phone until freshman year of college, and it was a candy bar phone. Google that. It's quite archaic, but like instead of like asking for a girl's number or something like that, you would now it's like, hey, can I get your Snapchat or your
Yeah.
Insta or whatever? And like your phone number is like almost a more intimate thing to give
Yeah.
out or something. It's
Yeah. My daughter,
weird.
she actually mentioned the other day that she hasn't used her messaging on her phone because all of her communication with her friends is through Snap.
Wow.
Yeah, they all have like the group, everything that you can do in messaging, they do on Snapchat. And that's where it all just kind of lives at, which is scary, but
Yeah.
it also is the times. So I
Yeah.
either have to embrace and figure it out
Right.
or
Leave her out. And that's
yeah.
not cool either.
Yeah, I don't see the benefit of completely excluding a child from that cuz then I would kids are going to go behind your back and do it. If you don't
Yeah.
embrace it, she's going to have a Snapchat behind my back. I might as well embrace it and figure it out with her instead of
Yeah.
breeding an environment where she feels she has to go behind her mom's back for something.
Right.
That would
Right.
never be my intention with my daughter is that she has to go behind my back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't mean to make you paranoid, but like she probably is going behind your back on some things, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm fully aware. And then it comes to light and we figure it out and have
Yeah.
those conversations of,
Yeah.
yeah, why did you even feel that this was an option that you had to take?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why did you
exactly.
even think you even got to this point where you had to make a decision behind my back or to exclude me from the conversation?
Yeah, I had Braxton on the podcast earlier, and he introduced this really interesting thing called dead man's talk, and with his dad. And dead man's talk is basically you can come to me anything, and if you say that you're good, you can come to me with anything, and if you say it's dead man's talk, I'm not gonna do anything with our conversation. I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna treat it like I'm a dead man, and that's it. Like, and so he can go to him and be like, "Hey, Dad, I messed up. I did this," and that's dead man's talk.
Wow.
And I think that's interesting, but I'm also I I I want my kid to approach me, but at the same time, I do want there to be consequences for my kid's actions. And
Yeah.
so there's a fine line between like, "Hey, I just did cocaine last night," or something like that, and like,
Yeah.
this is dead man's talk, and by the way, I'm planning on doing it tonight too. It's like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
not dead man's talk. Like, I'm gonna stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I mean, I could definitely see both sides of that. I could see them revealing something that you're like, nope, no, we
Yeah,
need to have a conversation.
yeah.
But I also see the benefit of this is a safe space
Mhm.
for you to just get it out, whatever happened.
Yeah,
I see the benefit of that as well. Cause I mean, I think both of us can say like we want it so that if our kids go through a moment where they need to really have a tough conversation that they can just come to us and whether that's under the guise of dead man's talk
yeah,
or just coming to you and saying like this is something that happened.
yeah,
I mean, that's an environment that you want to embrace. I
yeah.
would never want my anyone around me, my kids or anybody to be like, I can't come to you with this because you're going to react in a bad way. I
Yes.
would never want that.
Yeah, 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 right. Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, the dead man's talk of not reacting
mhm,
as they're telling you something horrific would
mhm.
be like there might needs to be like a caveat like this is dead
There's a
man's talk
guideline.
except
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, right.
when there's life or big things that could go wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your cocaine binge will not be happening.
Right, right. No, exactly. So it was interesting, but anyway, anything else on the kids conversation that you want to bring up?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Um, I let's get into your divorce journey. So this is obviously something that I wanted to make sure that we could talk about beforehand. It is something that you wanna that you wanna talk, and I think the hope is that if somebody else is going through this journey, they can watch this and
Yeah.
um, know that maybe they're not alone, but also any tips and tricks and stuff like that on how to navigate this and all
Yeah.
that. So let me ask this. So, um, what helped you the most in finding your footing again and moving forward? And by the way, I know I keep doing this with every single segment start, but how long ago was your divorce?
Yeah. Um, so my divorce happened in 22
Mm,
and then it was finalized in 23. So that entire year of 22, 23 was kind of just the inner workings of filing and then going through the divorce process.
yeah.
And the biggest thing that I found that really like helped me the most was um, my mom.
Mm,
Really leaning in on my mom. She really helped me out during that time.
yeah.
And then I had two friends that really helped me. That I was able. I mean, with one of them, I didn't have an option. I had to be real and raw and I mean, I remember ugly sobbing in her arms as she held me, just because it's a rough time.
Mhm.
No matter, the reason behind the divorce, no matter which side you're on, no matter if it's good, bad, ugly, it's
Yeah.
hard for everybody involved, every single person involved.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I didn't have a choice. I just sobbed in her arms, and, I mean, that opened up a different level of our friendship that we had not been at before.
Yeah.
And just leaning on them, therapy was a big one. Therapy was a very big,
Mm.
help as I navigated that. I think I started therapy, gosh, within a week of the divorce starting. I started therapy, and that was so monumental in helping me, like, just with swirling thoughts. And I mean, not to get into the specifics, but overcoming the mental aspect of the beginning parts of the divorce was the really hard part. And just talking to a therapist of like, how do I overcome this? How do I stop living in this moment? How do I get these swirling thoughts and all this chaos in my mind to calm? And there wasn't an answer or a solution that worked magically. It was a lot of different things that I had to use and a lot of different paths I had to take to finally get to a point where I felt like I kind of had everything like in my brain kind of back together again after it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Um, is there a particular moment or realization that helped you turn the page and start a new chapter in life?
Yeah, the biggest turning point for me was when I went from surviving
Mm.
to thriving.
Mm.
I was surviving for a while after the divorce. In terms of just, um, you talked about tough moments and, the winter's tough moments for me. There was a lot of times where I was kind of in that mental state of just kind of surviving.
Mm.
Um, I mean, one of the biggest things with divorce that people will find out is navigating that non-kid time, especially if you're going through divorce with kids, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
There are now big moments of your life where you don't have your kids. And if
Yeah.
you're like me, like that was very difficult to have these stretches of time where I was just kind of with myself.
Yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and I thought, who am I?
Yeah.
I've been a mom, I've been a wife for so long. Who am I? And
Yeah.
looking in the mirror and then really realizing like it went from who am I to, who am I?
Yeah.
Who do I get to be? I get to be somebody different and figure it out. What does Allison like to do? So I was able to take those stretches of time that I didn't have the kids and really kind of focus on who I was.
Mm.
And I started kind of thriving in life. I started finding things that I liked. I tried things and I didn't like them. I started biking a lot more. I started going on longer runs and walks, and I started going to different. I thought I was a concert person. I'm not a concert person really
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm an amusement park person. I'm a hiker.
Mm.
So just discovering who I was and thriving in that. Yeah, it's really been an amazing journey of just I look at back who I was surviving and who I am thriving, and I'm so thankful
Mm.
that woman that was surviving that, looked in the mirror and thought, what am I gonna do?
Mm.
I am so thankful that she figured it out and
Yeah.
that she was able to see there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and God, it's beautiful over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's beautiful finding out who you are and thriving in it.
Yeah. So, I think one thing that in any hard situation that someone goes through, they'll go two directions, right? They'll go into that thriving direction. And then the other direction is they'll go into that dark, deep,
Mhm.
deep, dark hole, right?
Yeah.
And I guess talk to me about that. One, was the surviving part, was there a deep dark hole that you were in for a little bit? And and then like, well, like, for example, like I can see somebody just getting into drugs and alcohol, right? And
Mhm.
and doing that. And then and then I'm sure at some point hopefully someone will realize, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And
Mhm.
then they'll get into that thriving mode.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that some?
Yeah. I would say definitely right after the whole process began of the divorce, I think I definitely was in a really just dark place
Yeah.
of just swirling thoughts and just the way that I was feeling. It was just I've never been in a place like that before,
Right.
and I didn't know it's not that I didn't know how to get out of it, 'cause I more so just I've never been here before. I didn't know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
Do I lean into it? Do I lean on something har like, what do I do? How do I do this? And so that was where the friends came in. That was where the
Mm,
therapy came in. That was where, um, similar to what your friend said with their dad, if they had the dead man's talk,
mhm.
my mom and I reached a point, and I'm so thankful for her. Oh my gosh, she's been amazing to me my whole life, but the past couple years, we reached a point where I would just call her
Mhm.
and I would just cry and tell her like what was making me cry, and she didn't fix. She didn't tell me it was okay. She just listened. And then eventually I was able to get to that point to other people. I think it was very special that it was my mom that was my person for a while.
Yeah.
But I would just call her and I would just tell her like, this is what's happening. And I'm sobbing and I'm crying. And she would just, she's like, okay, okay. Like I'm
Mm.
hearing you. Um, and that was really helpful of helping, just similar to your friend. I was just able to get it out. I had a big emotion and I needed to get it out. And I couldn't just get it out to myself anymore because you talk yourself in circles. So that was huge, was my mom being there and doing all of that and just, gosh, letting me lean on her.
Yeah. So sounds like friends and family were a huge part of that, but you
Yeah.
also got active, more active by taking longer hikes
Yeah.
and doing things like that as well, which all things that are good for you, you
Yeah.
know?
I think I was telling someone else about this recently, the biking that I got into.
Mhm.
So it's just a regular bike. It's not like a motorcycle. I
Yeah.
go regular biking for miles. I found the meditative process of it was very helpful for me.
Mm.
I would get on the bike trail and I mean, I'm sure somebody out there has gone through this where you just can't get your brain to stop. It
Mm.
just needs to stop for a minute. I need a break. So I would get out on the bike trail, and a form of meditation is I would just count my pedals, 1, 2,
Mm.
3, 4, 5, and I would count for the half mile. There's, half mile markers along the trail,
Yeah.
and I would get to a marker, and then I'd start back at 1. And I was able to, for this hour, 2-hour ride, my brain was turned off. And I
Wow.
needed that because
Yeah.
I needed that space to just let my exhausted brain, breathe a minute.
Right.
And I think that was why I fell in love with the trails and being outside because I was able to find such peace out there.
Yeah.
And, obviously my life has transitioned and morphed. I was in a place and I have, gosh, taken those steps to get out of that place.
Mm.
And I'm still able to go biking and I don't have to, I mean, I will just the other day I went biking with my friends and we talked the whole time. And I did have a moment where I thought to myself, remember when you used to be out here and you just counted your pedals just to kind of just like
Mm.
exist? And I think about how far I've come. And I
Wow.
don't look at biking, I don't look at hiking, I don't look at running as like this thing that like saved me or like traumatic. I look at it as like, gosh, it was beautiful. It got
Mm.
me some beautiful results.
Mm.
And I'm very thankful for what I was able to do when I got out. And because I mean, even with running, counting your steps or
Yeah.
just singing one song over and over again, just getting your brain to turn off,
Yeah.
hiking, biking, running,
Mm.
it's all been really beneficial for that.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Um, did you come across that yourself, or did you, like, Google it and find it on social media, or
No, I just kind of just did it.
interesting?
I had known about the bike trails. I'd gone out there a couple of times with the kids, for like
Mhm.
Mother's Day and stuff. And yeah, after a long day of work, another like, getting the kids to the sports and things like that, and my brain hadn't stopped all day.
Mm.
I would just get out there and I would go and I would find myself going longer and longer because it felt so good mentally.
Mm.
To the point where I was doing, 20 miles on my bike and maybe like I think the farthest I ever got to run was a half marathon and just pushing myself. And then I mean, there is a really big like accomplishment that comes with doing
Of
that,
course,
with
yeah.
getting done with whatever you're doing and being like, wow, I just did a half marathon. And I mean, it's just there's no way that that's not beneficial to
Mhm.
somebody, being able to push yourself to be able to do a half marathon. That's huge.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats on that, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Yeah, it's interesting that you were able to find those healthy ways of coping,
Mhm.
right? Like, I think it's fascinating because when you started saying that you were bike riding, I'm like, okay, she must be listening to music or a podcast or
Mhm.
something like that to get your mind off of things because as we kind of alluded to earlier, just being alone in your thoughts, like that's something that I would want to avoid in that situation,
Mhm.
So but you were able to count your steps or your pedals or
Yeah.
whatever else, and that's awesome. Wow. Let me ask you this, and maybe your biking counting is a good answer, but I'm curious if you have anything else. So, someone who's going through this that maybe doesn't have the friend and family support,
Mhm.
what advice would you give them?
That's a really good question. You know, if somebody went through what I went through, I mean, I honestly didn't have those friends and those connections either at the time. I built them because I lacked them.
Mm,
Um, is you have to know where you don't want to go. I
mm,
was very cognizant of the fact that I could slip into a dark depression, that I
yeah,
could turn to, you know, drugs, alcohol. All of those options are available to anybody. And I
right.
knew that that's not what I wanted to do. I knew I had to make good choices because I wanted my kids to see um, that I wasn't going to fail or this wasn't going to be I mean, it was a defining moment, but it wasn't going to define me.
Yeah,
And I didn't want my kids to I know that there's a lot of, and I mean, I'm kind of generalizing here, but I hear a lot of times, you know, like the parents go through the divorce and then, you know, one of the parents just like kind of lives in a state of depression the rest of their
mm,
lives because, and I just, and I mean, I don't think that was ever something I was going to do, but I was
right.
like, I don't want to be that parent. I don't want my kids to come home and be like, oh, mom's on the couch again doing nothing.
Mm,
So I was almost hyper aware in the other direction of like, I have to keep moving. I have to keep going. I have to stay strong.
yeah,
And then after, you know, being so strong, building myself up, building thick walls around myself. Then I looked and said, well, nothing's authentic. Like I've prevented myself from getting hurt, but I've also prevented myself from having friends.
yeah,
And that was when I finally really dug into like, how do I bridge this gap between these huge walls I've built to protect myself and the fact that nobody's able to cross them?
mm,
I want to lower, I want them to so that was really that was where the journey began
yeah.
of that is so sorry, circle back to your
No, go
question
ahead.
is I mean, just having that like mental fortitude to just being able to overcome. That
Mm,
was kind of what I was able to do is just being really mentally strong and just knowing that even in those darkest moments, and I will be honest, I mean, going through a divorce, there are moments when I was ugly crying into the carpet of
sure.
just life is ugly. This is unfair. Everything is just going against me.
Yeah.
And just thinking like, it's okay to have this moment.
Mm,
It's okay to have a moment. It's
mhm,
not okay to have a life like this.
yeah,
It is, there is nothing wrong with having those big, ugly moments where you're just ugly crying and you're just feeling it all, but just don't let it be your life.
yeah,
Let it be a moment. And I think
yeah.
you have to have the moment to recognize this is not life.
Yeah, that's so that's more profound than I think you might think is that this is just a moment, and yeah, like you can sit there and wallow in self pity and be like, oh, I'm always gonna do this, and then you can use bad things to cope, let's say, and but you know that this isn't the rest of your life.
Yeah. And don't let it be.
Yeah,
I don't want this to be my life,
mm,
but I'm okay to feel this right now.
yeah,
I'm okay I'm okay to feel this way. It's not going to be forever.
yeah,
And I won't let it be forever. I
right.
will not let this continue longer than I think is a healthy amount of time to continue
Right.
feeling this feeling, whether that's 5 minutes or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We're not going to feel this way forever. I wasn't going to let myself feel that way forever.
Yeah. That's awesome. There's so much correlation to the disabled community as well, like getting in a wreck and then you know you can let that define you, or you can move on and
Yeah.
figure out how to live life disabled, right? And instead of wallowing in self pity
Wow. Yeah.
and all that. So yeah, that's interesting. Um,
But I mean, it takes
God,
like it takes strength.
it
Like you've got to be
yeah.
like, yeah, to get a diagnosis, to get a big like to have these big life shifts
Mm,
happen. It's easy to say it's a moment, it's not your life, but when you're in the moment, it
yeah.
feels like it's your life.
Yeah.
It feels like this is it.
Yeah.
And so it's just baby steps, one at a time. It's maybe just getting up and doing something, or it's maybe, yeah, it's baby steps, but it is
Yeah.
even a baby step is a step forward.
Yeah, Yeah, putting on your shoes in the morning or
Yeah,
whatever
brushing your
else.
teeth, taking
Yeah.
a shower, showing up to work prepared that day.
Yeah, baby steps. Yeah, that's so good. There's a an adage that I've heard is like clean your room. And it's like it's basically like, hey, like before you and if you can't clean your room, clean a corner of your room, clean your nightstand,
Yeah.
clean something, and just that forward movement helps you. Uh, yeah. Anyway, anything else on the divorce that you want everybody to hear or
I don't think so.
okay.
No.
That was I appreciate you sharing, and I know it's not probably not the easiest thing to talk about, but again, but part of my hope with this podcast is we're just normal people having
Yeah.
a conversation about our lives, and hopefully somebody else is well, maybe not in this case, but someone is going through an experience like the ones that we're sharing,
Yeah.
and hopefully they can get something out of it and roll forward, so to speak, with their own life. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, thank you so much. All right, guys, let's get into the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So, Allison, the way the rapid fire works is I'm going to ask you this or that, and or I'll ask you a question that just requires one word or one answer, and then and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So, you ready?
Yes.
Beach volleyball or indoor volleyball?
Beach.
If you could instantly master one new skill for fun, what would it be?
To speak Korean.
To speak Korean.
Yeah.
Interesting. Annyeonghaseyo is hello in Korean, by the way.
Yes, I do know that one.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna detour a little bit. Why speaking Korean?
I really like K-pop.
Okay,
I was for a minute. For a minute, I was really into K-pop. It's kind of fallen off.
yeah.
But there's this new movie on Netflix that just came out, K-pop Demon Hunters. So it's kind of like
Oh.
reignited the flame a little bit of my the K-pop, the K-dramas, the K-movies. Yeah,
Is that an anime?
yeah.
It is. Okay.
No, it's animated, but it's not anime.
Okay, okay. Interesting. And it's a fictional, it's not like a documentary or anything like
I'm
that.
so impressed you haven't heard of K-pop Demon Hunters. It has taken over
Yeah.
like a huge chunk of people, like a huge chunk of the world. Maybe it's just like the people that I see on my algorithm and the people around me.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I am l- l- I'll say this. I'm not a K-pop fan, let's say,
Okay.
but I really gravitated towards Blackpink.
Okay.
And like for some reason, like when I'm working or whatever, and I haven't listened to them in a while, but for a while, I would just I had this playlist on Spotify that I found, and it was just all the Blackpink songs from beginning to end,
Yeah.
and I would listen to that, and it would help me work because
Yeah.
if I hear like English songs, and yeah, there are some English
Yeah.
in their songs and whatnot. But like if I hear English songs, it distracts me a lot more. And so if I just have no idea what they're saying,
Yeah.
it's like it's upbeat and
And their
like
music is so good.
yeah,
Yeah. They
yeah,
have really good like beats and music and melodies too
yeah.
on top of their singing. Yeah.
So I'm slightly embarrassed to say this, but I did actually watch the Blackpink documentary as well.
That's great.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, "Whoa," like, what they're going on, how they train those people in Korea and,
Yeah.
like, going to, like, a specific place where that's basically all they do and, like, how
The agencies, right? The different
yeah.
like agencies that create the K-pop groups. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they just basically live out of that area, and then they have to do, like, a presentation, like, a song or whatever,
Yeah.
and do dance
The
and
training
yeah.
periods, the debuts.
Yeah,
Yes.
and how the cast members didn't all know Korean and,
Hmm.
like, it was a fascinating documentary, and it's a really interesting thing of, like, just Korean culture and, like, what
Yes.
they did there,
It
and
is very different the way that they
yeah,
treat their artists and their celebrities as well in Korea as opposed to the States. So it is a
yeah,
different mindset that you have to take on.
yeah. So who's your favorite K-pop?
K-pop band,
Yeah,
BTS.
BTS, okay, okay.
Yeah. I
I've
think
heard
that
of
they're
them.
big enough that most people have heard of them at
Yeah,
this point. Yeah.
I've definitely heard of them. I probably couldn't tell you a song that they sing per se, but, is BTS, is that are there any others among the top or?
No, not anymore. I
Okay.
think back, when I was kind of more in that, like, fan base, I guess you could say, of, like, the K-pop stuff, I knew a little bit more, a little bit deeper.
Mhm.
But now I more just, like, kinda touch base and see, like, what they're up to, more
Yeah.
so than, like, knowing what all the different things are, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the things that's interesting is I ask people variations of this question, and like a lot of the answers are just like out there. Like your answer's not out there, but it's completely off the like it's completely irrelevant to who you are and
Yeah.
what you're doing, right? Like you didn't say anything about parenting or volleyball or anything like that. So it's interesting. It's a great question. I definitely like asking it. So all right, but more rapid fire. Favorite comfort food after a long day.
Pizza.
Okay. If you had to choose, never use your phone again or never drink coffee again.
Um, I guess never use my phone again.
Really?
Yeah, I really like my coffee. I just told you I was a zombie until I get my coffee. I'm not a mean zombie, but I am not online
Yeah.
until I've had at least 2 cups of caffeine.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that I could go without my coffee and that I could go without my phone rather. It's just so functional for me and like yeah, I am a zombie. I tried to quit drinking coffee and I heard the hangover whatever is
Yeah.
like 12 to 14 days or maybe even less or something. And I went like 3 or 4 weeks and I was still just dragging. And I was like, "All right, I can't do this." And so
This
I
is
got
more
back on
motivation
it.
for me to never give up
Yeah.
coffee
Oh,
then.
it's awful.
If you're
It's
saying there's gonna be a month of this,
yeah.
it's a moment, it's not my life, but no, it's not a moment I'm ready for yet.
Right. It's brutal.
I
I
would much rather have people come knock on my door and say, "Hello, what are you doing tonight? Do you wanna have dinner?" So much more than me not having that bean juice in the morning.
that's hysterical. Uh, but yeah, I also heard somebody say on a podcast when I was like doing research on this, somebody said something along the lines of like, "Hey, if you feel like crap when you're off of coffee, your body might be telling you something."
Oh, no.
And I was like,
What's it telling
"Oh."
me?
Well, I mean, I'm overweight, right? I've lost 50 pounds, but at the same time, like maybe it's telling me that hey, I need to exercise more or something like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
I haven't gone without coffee or caffeine in the morning in over a decade, so I don't even know if my body's trying to tell me something or not
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm
R-
down in the coffee and making it
Right,
shut up anyways.
right. Well, I mean, I was definitely past the point of like when like the withdrawal happens or whatever, and it's like, man, I still like I don't feel the same way. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I fear, and I know I'm growing off topic here, if I don't have my caffeine in the morning, I get migraines in the afternoon because of, like, the caffeine
Yeah,
withdrawal,
yeah.
and I fear that,
Mm,
more than I fear anything else. I'm like, "I don't
yeah.
want that afternoon migraine because that just derails the whole day."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't go out without coffee. So, early bird or night owl? That's the
Night
last one.
owl.
Night owl? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I kind of figured with the text from bright and early at 10 a.m. So,
I mean, I'm really bad about that. So during the week, Monday through Friday, I'm getting up at 5:15. I think my
mm,
alarm is set between 5:15 and 5:20, whatever.
yeah.
So my weekends are my time to sleep in. And so,
Mm,
yeah. And I'm waking up at 5:15 and I'm not going to bed till midnight. Like
mm,
I'm one of those people that I somehow have learned that I only function on like 5, 6 hours of sleep. If I get more sleep than
interesting.
that, I mean, obviously I do my catch ups on the weekend
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
But I just don't need it to
Mm,
I don't need an people are like, "Oh, I need exactly 8, 9 hours of sleep." I'm like, "I don't. Give me 4 and I can probably get through the day."
wow. I wish I was one of those people. Like
Really?
I need 8 hours or like it's interesting because if I get no sleep for a day, the next day I'm like, great. I'm like better than great.
Yeah.
But if I do that too many times in a row, then I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have to sleep. And then the other thing is, when I do like, my sleep schedule is pretty sensitive, and what I mean by that is if I sleep in, then I can't fall asleep, and then I start that
Oh,
trend of not
no.
getting of
The
getting
cycle.
no sleep and all that, and that's just brutal for me. So, like, I used to go out a lot more on the weekends and stay out at the bars, let's say, and, like, I slowly realized that, like, man, I can't do that, and maybe that's me just being older or whatever,
I think that
so
is part of the
yeah.
age as well, yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
we went out one weekend for a friend's birthday recently, and we were out till oh, I might be wrong, but it was, like, a little bit past midnight, right? And
Mm,
man, did that recovery take a long time. Like, I'm
yeah.
up till midnight, something like that, but I'm not out.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sitting in bed, I'm sitting around my house.
Yeah.
Being out and doing all of that, I was like, "No, this is I need to be at home in my bed
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah.
nothing. I
Right,
can't be out."
right. Yeah, that's interesting. One of the things that I love are late night conversations. For
I
some
completely agree.
Yeah, for some reason, when you're, like, tired and loopy or whatever,
Mhm.
like, you just say things
That you wouldn't normally say.
right. And it's not even yeah, I don't know what it is, but again, some of the best conversations I've ever had have been at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, because it's not so much that you're saying weird loopy things,
Right.
you're just not censoring, your walls are lowered.
Yeah.
So you'll say that thing that's been on your mind instead of letting it
Yeah.
sit there.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
those too, and
Yeah.
because of those, the connection you feel with whoever you're talking to is so much more, like, deep
Yeah.
now
Yes.
because you've talked about the meaning. Yeah, sometimes it's as simple as, like, "What are we doing next week?
Right.
How do you feel about that?" To, like, "What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing here, man?"
Yeah. What's the meaning of life? Like, what's going on? Yeah.
If you haven't had a 3 AM meaning of life conversation with at least one person in your life, make that a goal. You
Yes.
have to, like, go have that conversation with somebody in your life.
Yes. It's brutal the next day, let's say, but at the same time, like,
Very worth it.
it is. It's so worth it. So, okay. Anything else? Let's get into the disability segment.
Okay,
So first question that I have for you on that is what's your experience with disability?
not much. I know you have
Mhm.
a disability, and I mean, off the top of my head, that's kind of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. I'll just explain this real quick. The purpose of the disability segment is just to talk about disability, and there have been people in the past that have been like, I don't have any experience, and that's okay. Like I just want to meet whoever I'm talking to, where they're at, and all that, and just kind of talk about things. Um, okay, so I am curious. Um, so when I go through a mall in public, I will often hear a kid say, "Mommy, Daddy, look at that,"
Oh, wow.
or something along those lines, right?
Mhm.
And what does a parent generally do? What do you think a parent would do in that situation?
So I'll answer what I would do in that
Yeah, sure.
situation. Having 2 kids, obviously, we've been in those scenarios. It would usually be like, "Yeah, look at that, like, that's how they get to get around in the world."
Yeah,
Something of that effect of
yeah.
just like, everybody's different and that's theirs.
Yeah, that's great. So I love that answer. Do you know what the the most common answer I get is?
I would assume it's probably like, "Don't look." Like,
Yeah,
"Stop staring."
yeah, like shh,
Yeah.
like you shush them or something like that, right?
Yeah. I don't like that.
No, I hate that, and so I wanted to you having kids, I wanted to kind of get into that conversation. So my reaction is always I turn around and I go up to that kid and I start talking to that kid.
Oh, wow.
I wanna make sure that that kid knows and that parent knows that it's okay for that kid to be curious,
Yeah.
because that's what it is. There is a story that I sometimes tell is, um, I was at a mall with my mom when I was, like, 4, and there was a kid who was staring at me, and I got behind my mom, I said, "Mom, hide me. I don't like that kid staring at me." And then she ducked down, she kneeled down and, like, pulled me out from about behind her and goes, "Don't you ever be ashamed of who you are. Don't you ever hide from that." Right? And so I take it upon me. I mean, you know this about me. I'm not uncomfortable having a conversation with about disability. I don't mind opening up about my own disability or anything like that, right? And so one of the things with this concept of shushing your kid that I think could translate into adulthood is you are not allowed to ask about this. You are not allowed to be curious. And so I think that translates into this elephant in the room that people have around disability, right?
Yeah.
Where people don't know how to act. They're
Mhm.
just uncomfortable with it. So I'm curious, going back to your reaction of shushing, you said you don't like that.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that a little bit more if you don't mind.
Um, like, I would never wanna, like, dissuade my child from acknowledging and seeing every person for, like, who they are.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't breed conversations when you shush them.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have ever, had we experienced somebody like with a disability or in a wheelchair, gone up to them
Mm,
and had a conversation with them.
mhm.
You approaching is very different,
Yeah.
but more so of just like, yeah, like everybody exists. Everybody has different ways of navigating the world. That's how they navigate it. Like,
Yeah.
let's continue on with our day. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
affect us.
Mhm.
Like, okay, they can live that way. That's kind of how we view it. Like everything is just like it doesn't affect us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that. And then do you think the shushing, it does something, it could potentially do something to them mentally to
Yeah.
where that elephant in the room
Well, it's
later on
like,
in
yeah, like
life?
you don't talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't mention this to them, and then that would
yeah,
breed. And I don't think I've ever again because I think that I was probably told, "Shh, don't look, don't stare" as a kid.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever, other than you, approached somebody with a disability and been like, "Tell me about your journey.
yeah,
How'd you get here?"
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I don't think I would feel comfortable or like how to navigate that in the
Mm,
correct way or use the right words, and I wouldn't want to offend
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because before I started this podcast, I was under the impression that like it's okay to ask somebody about their disability.
Hmm.
But then there were a couple different responses. Like I know somebody who was in a car accident. That person was driving and they killed everybody in their car and it was his fault.
Wow.
So like rehashing that
Yeah.
is just disastrous for somebody, right? And then another one is Jake, who was on the show before. He got run over by a train, and like the amount of questions that get asked after you getting run over by a train
Yeah.
just is endless. And so that's annoying
Mhm.
to sit there for a long period of time and just field questions from people about getting run over by a train.
Yeah.
So for me, it's easy to explain my disability. I have spina bifida, a hole in my back, was paralyzed from below the knees. There's not much else that people ask along those lines.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So then
it's
in
interesting.
reverse, let
Yeah,
me ask you this.
yeah,
Is this how do I test those waters as an able-bodied person if I see somebody and I wanna have that conversation? I wanna,
mhm,
branch out and address the elephant in the room per se.
yeah.
How would I even begin to tiptoe into that without offending?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of times the elephant in the room stems around like what should and shouldn't I do around that person,
Mhm.
and you can focus on that. Like, hey, like one of the most common things that we get asked is, do you need help loading your wheelchair in your car? And that's something we do every day. Imagine like somebody asking you, hey, do you need help putting on your shoes in the morning?
Yeah.
It's very similar to that, right? Because it is. It's something that we do day in day out. There are people that might be learning or whatever else, but as far as that goes, it's asking, "Hey, do you need help with this?" Another thing that I do in tennis is like what what like something along the lines of like what kind of mobility you have or questions along those lines. For example, one thing that is important for me to know when you're playing tennis that I can observe sometimes, but sometimes I can't, is can you use your trunk? So can you turn side to side? Can you pick up a tennis ball and come back up without grabbing your knee to help push you up,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So do you have those muscles? So those kinds of things are questions that you can ask without getting into the disability
Yeah.
that kind of help squash the elephant in the room. the other thing is, I think you're pretty intuitive when it comes to that. Um, like for me, if somebody asked me like right off the bat, "Hey, what happened?" Like I'd be fine with that. But and if you're one of those people, somebody will generally tell you what happened,
Yeah.
and then they'll say, "I don't want to get into it." So I think the safe way to go about that is get to know them a little bit, and then you can maybe have that conversation. So like one of the things that you've obviously witnessed me do is I make wheelchair jokes all the time,
Yes.
right? And that is one way for me to get you to be more comfortable. But also, if I haven't already told you, you know that I'm comfortable talking about my
Yeah.
disabilities so that you can go ahead and ask me because I'm already joking about it,
Yes.
right? So you can see those signs like that that might lead to you being able
You're
to.
more open to having that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So did that answer your question fully?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of test the waters and just get to know them and
Yeah.
then slowly kind of approach that topic,
Yeah.
but don't completely ignore it.
Yeah, it is interesting because you do have people like I was at an Asian restaurant. I forget what kind of Asian restaurant it was, but it was like a buffet style Asian restaurant. And I go up, I get my plate, and I start like putting things on my plate. And one of the employees comes over. I think it was probably the owner or something like that. And they wanted to be hospitable, and they didn't speak English maybe all that well or whatever. And she reaches over and was like, "Here, let me take your plate." And I'm like, "No, no, no, I got it." And like she was insistent. Like she probably was like 5 or 6 times, like, "No, no, 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 please, please,
Oh,
please."
yeah.
And I'm over here like, no. I eventually like I don't think I said it that abruptly, but I did have to be a little bit harder on that person. Like, no, I'm seriously, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like I can get my own plate. And so like there is a line of like you can ask for someone for help, and that's fine. But don't keep insisting like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help you and blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Well, just ask, do you need any help?
Yeah.
And then trust their answer. If they say no, then okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of a correlates to kids as well because um there's a quote, don't do for someone something that they can do themselves or
Yeah.
something like that, right? And it's basically like if you're helping somebody just by who's able to get food from onto their plate, you're almost robbing them of their independence and that dignity
Yeah.
to help themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that quote was for like older people in the nursing home and stuff like that. Like they're slowly not able to do more and more things. So like don't do those things that they can do themselves
Hmm.
because that makes them feel more independent.
Yeah.
So um so the other thing that's kinda interesting is, opening doors. Have you observed this and
In what way? Where like people open doors for
where I
someone in a
open
wheelchair?
doors for people?
You.
Mhm. You might not have because it's not often we go through doors or anything like
I'm
that.
trying to think of where we work at because I know I went through the doors there, but typically you use a different door than I do just because of the
Yeah,
structure of the building. So
yeah,
no, I have not.
yeah. So the most fascinating interaction that I think illustrates able-bodied, disabled people interaction is me opening doors for people.
Okay.
They get so awkward. Um, Most of the time, they don't go through the door when I open it.
I could see that.
Most of the time, they'll get behind me and hold the door after I've opened it for them, by the way.
Yeah.
They'll give me the armpit. Sometimes they'll even like put their back to the door in front of me, and their feet are in the way, so I can't get
Yeah.
through.
Gotta
Right?
roll over them.
Yeah, yeah, right. Or like as I'm going towards the door, someone like from 20 yards away will be like, "Hold on, I got it, I got it, I got it." And it's a really interesting. I love you might not know this about me, but I love awkward situations.
I do
Like
know
I
that.
love deliberately making things
Yes.
awkward. And that's one of those moments that's just a neat social experiment to see everybody's reaction.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess one of the questions that I have about that is like, why do you think something so small illustrates something so dynamic, I guess, or any other thoughts that you have about me opening doors for people?
I mean, it's kind of like a personality test,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
I feel like, kind of circling back to disc, like
yeah.
some personalities are going to be like, thanks, buddy, and go right through it. I don't know if you experience a lot of that.
Very rarely, yeah,
And then I could see myself. So I planted myself in that scenario as you were saying it. And I could see myself like kind of holding the door and being like, go ahead.
yeah,
Yep. Thank you for opening it. You will
yeah,
now go through it first.
yeah,
And I think that stems from me wanting to make sure that the door doesn't hit you.
yeah,
And that's just me not being aware that you literally face doors every day and
yeah,
you know how to do it without adult
yeah,
or without an adult, without help. Like
yeah.
you know how
Without
to
an
do
adult,
it.
able-bodied.
Yeah. Thank you. Like
Yeah,
you know how to do it just fine.
yeah.
And me just not thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So a little change of subject because again, awkward moments, and this is a good transition into that. What's one awkward or funny moment, life moment you've had recently, or not recently, that still makes you laugh or cringe?
Oh man. A funny or awkward moment or both?
Yeah, awkward. Yeah, maybe a mix of both. I think most awkward moments are funny, but you know,
I'm trying to think. I have a lot of funny moments.
yeah,
There's so many moments recently, especially over this past summer where there's been like funny hysterics, laughing, crying, laughing. Awkward. I feel like I'm just like an awkward person
yeah,
a lot of the times.
yeah,
Oh, you know what? I do have a really fun, awkward, funny story. It's an older story though, and it involves you.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
I've told you this before,
okay,
but it is one of my favorite stories
okay.
about
Let's go.
our pointing thing that we do. Do you know this story?
Pointing thing.
Okay, so
No,
when
I
we
don't
worked
remember.
at the big building,
Uh-huh.
you would be going down the hallway, I'd be walking down the hallway, and whenever we would see each
Oh,
other,
yeah.
we would point at each other,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So you would continue rolling along, and you would point at me, and then I would kind of like assume a position and point at you, and then
Yeah.
you would just like roll by, and then we would just continue on with what we're doing. We didn't
Yeah.
talk, we didn't acknowledge each other, anything. It was just the point and the go.
Yeah, yeah.
So my favorite awkward funny story from that is the one time that you were coming back from the bistro or something like that from lunch. And I saw you and preemptively I assumed the position and I pointed you out and I pointed as you kept going and you never noticed me. And so I was just pointing at the guy in the wheelchair as he rolled along slowly in the hallway. And at some point I was like, I'm really doing bad here.
I vaguely remember you telling me that story. That's
I
awesome.
went and did what I needed to do, and I came back to where we sat, and I was like, "How did you not see me, Zach? I look like an asshole or a jerk. Like I was just out there pointing you down. Like, oh my God." I felt
Ah,
terrible about that. But I will say that at least I finally got you back. From what I remember from your story, we switched to the new building
yeah.
and I was on the second floor on the treadmill, headphones in,
Yeah.
living my best life at
Yeah.
work. And I guess I'll let you tell the story, but it was kind of like a reverse.
Yeah, I was basically on the first floor and like there's open spaces to see the second floor and Allison was up there and I was like, "Allison." And like this is like the main hallway that everybody's in and like you just kept going and I probably at first was like, "Allison." And then I got a little bit louder and louder and I got as loud as I thought I could be, but at the same time, I'm sure everybody walking by like heard and they're like
They just see you yelling a random name.
they're like looking up, like what's this
Is
guy
there an
looking at?
Allison
Yeah,
somewhere?
yeah. And she did not respond to me, so I was like, all right, well, and of course I told you about that later. Let me ask you because I don't remember why did we do this
I don't
little
know.
finger pointing thing?
I don't know. I think it
Okay,
just kind of started.
okay,
And then, yeah, and then when we switched, I think you took a different position and you went to a different building.
yeah,
Then it just never really picked back up again because we never
yeah,
really worked together. But I think
yeah,
that was it. We would just point, go,
yeah,
and then go on with our day.
yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah.
I have another one that involves you as
Okay,
well. The
let's
gas
go.
station one. So I went
Oh
to this
yeah.
gas station out in where we live because we live kind of in the same part of town.
Yep.
And I went to the gas station, and I mean, you were at the gas station, you were pumping gas. I was very excited that you were there. So I ran across multiple gas pump lanes to get to you. And I approached you and in my head I was like, what wheelchair joke am I gonna make at this guy's expense? I'm gonna something, and I think I ended up settling along the lines of like they'll just let anybody in this place or something like that. Like I didn't want to be whatever. So I walked up to you and I touched your shoulder and I was about to deliver my zinger of a joke, and you turn around and it's not you. It's some other poor guy in his wheelchair just trying to pump gas in his car, and I literally approached him and was like, "You are not Zach," and left. So this poor guy is just like, "Nope, not." I mean, he has the curly hair.
Yeah.
I think he had like a similar work outfit on to what you have on,
Mhm.
very similar height. I mean, I really like, I was like, this is Zach.
Yeah.
And I looked, I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this is Zach. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's definitely like, this is Zach. Zach is here and I'm going to mess with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hysterical. You know, the other really funny thing is because I'm so into the adaptive sports community and all that, it's like, man, I might even know who this person is. I can't think of anybody that has like my build and curly hair and all
Yeah.
that,
It was
but
the hair that did it because you have very distinct curly hair. And I
yeah,
think it was longer at the time, like a
yeah,
little bit more, not shaggy, but a little bit more just kind of like
yeah,
I mean, it was your doppelganger is out there.
yeah, yeah.
Terrified of me approaching him at gas stations and just I mean, I didn't just approach him and be like, "Excuse me." I literally was like, "You're not Zach." Like, I didn't make it comfortable for him at all. At all. He must have felt so uncomfortable.
Was he in his wheelchair
Yes.
or the car?
No, he was in his wheelchair, like,
Okay.
at the gas pump
Yeah.
doing something on the gas pump.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hysterical.
He's just trying to pump his gas, and here I am,
Yeah,
just harassing him.
yeah, that's awesome.
So if he's out there listening and you were approached at a gas station in Westchester and said, "You're not Zach," you're not.
Yeah,
That was me
yeah.
thinking it was you.
That would be hysterical if that person commented
Can you
like, "That was
imagine the
me."
full circle of it
Yeah,
all?
yeah, yeah. I'll have the 3 of us together like, "Hey, I
But you guys look nothing
this is
alike
the guy,
either.
everybody." Yeah, right, right. Yeah, and then just put, like, the
He's
side
got
by
like
side, like
blonde hair, like soft and like wavy, like nothing like your hair at all.
Right, right, right. Oh, man, that's great. Any other funny stories that you've thought of? 'Cause those are pretty golden.
No, no, those are the good ones.
Okay, so let's get we'll wrap up here shortly. I've got a few more questions. As far as like your future thoughts, looking ahead, what's one big goal or dream you're excited to work towards, whether in your personal life or with the volleyball league or anything else?
Um, looking forward to the next steps with the league. I think I told you we started hosting tournaments here in town instead of
Mhm.
having to outsource them to different states.
Yeah.
What that looks like next season. This season, we just kind of slowly did it and rolled it out to the athletes within our club and slowly opened the door to other clubs or to
Mhm.
other people. I think in the off season, we're going to have some good meetings and some good opportunities to really grow that.
Mhm.
So our training will still be very personal, athletic based, but our tournaments will hopefully be able to give more people an opportunity to make it down to Florida or to make it out to Hermosa to have those opportunities to go to championships.
Mm.
They don't have to travel all over the state to get those. They can do them here. So I'm really looking forward to what that looks like
Mm.
next season. And then in my personal life, I have really seen a shift, especially in this last year, with how authentic and real my connections are with my kids, with my friends, with just the people around me, and seeing the rewards of that, seeing those connections. I'm really excited to see the next year and just how it's going to blossom, how it's going to continue to grow, and
Yeah.
the life that awaits me as I continue on this journey.
Mm.
It's only gotten better,
Mhm.
and I keep thinking like I'll have moments where I'm like, gosh, life's good.
Mm.
And then I keep having those moments where I'm like, okay, what's the next moment where I'm going to think it's good? And I can't wait to
Yeah.
be there and to be in that moment to see who I am then.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you wanna shout out the organization?
Yeah, my volleyball club. So it's Westchester Force Volleyball Club. Most of our socials are either WC Force or Westchester Force. And we have slowly been able to make it so that when you Google Westchester Force, it is one of the top searches. Because again, as a small nonprofit with 30 athletes, we don't have as much of a presence. So
Yeah.
yeah, find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We've got all the different socials and you can follow us and see what we've got going on. And if you have an athlete that you think would want to play sand volleyball as a junior, please look into it because we would love the opportunity to coach your kid.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up. Let's see if I always do this once a podcast is just forget what I was gonna ask. I think that's That's good enough. If I think of it, I'll let you know. But
Okay.
what kind of legacy or impact do you hope to leave with your kids or your community or otherwise?
Um, I just really hope that I leave behind, just how hard I worked on building the
Mm.
authentic connections around me.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on the fact that I lived my first 30 something years without them, I realize how rare and how special they are to have those friendships. And the fact that I've got multiple that I've worked hard for,
Mm.
I hope that's kind of what I leave behind is just how hard and how beautiful connection and authentic and how it's okay to be vulnerable and to get there.
Mm.
That's kind of what it is. And again, you don't have to be perfect to be amazing.
Yeah.
I really hope that I leave that legacy with my children and with the people around me.
Mm. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah. So I, I I've got one or two more questions, and then we can wrap up. But first, I don't know if you see the timestamp over there, but don't look.
Okay.
How long do you think we've been going?
Oh gosh, probably like 2 hours at this point.
Have you been keeping? You can probably see on your phone too
Is it two
the
hours?
time.
No, I have
No,
my notes.
it's 2.5 hours.
Oh,
2 hours 34 minutes.
okay.
One of the cool things that I like about the podcast is like everybody, and you didn't so much, but everyone's like, man, I don't think I can go for 2 or 3 hours, and like everybody
Yeah.
makes it to the end, and it's like, wow, that went a lot faster than I expected. So, okay, so in closing, what's one thing you hope listeners get out of this episode of us talking together?
Oh wow. Out of this episode, out of everything I've said today is Um, life's gonna be messy. It's
Mm,
gonna be ugly. It's gonna take you through. It's gonna drag you through the mud. And there's so much beauty on the other side.
mm,
And there's so much potential for deep connections, for meaningful moments in your life, and for leaving a legacy of just redemption and leaving a legacy of beauty behind, finding the beauty in the ugliness. And I'm hoping that at
mhm,
least one person can see that you can overcome hard things. You can be
yeah.
resilient in different ways. Being resilient doesn't mean overcoming everything, it means allowing yourself to be vulnerable and build
Yeah,
those connections.
yeah. Like you said earlier, this I'm gonna paraphrase it, but something like that. This is only a moment. It's not for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I got out of it as well is that specific moment, and it's awesome. But yeah, I very much appreciate having you on. It's been a blast to talk to you. We haven't really talked for a little bit, so
Yeah.
it's been fun catching up and hearing what your life's about. And sounds like you're on the up and up with after the divorce. And I really hope somebody listening to this can latch on to something you're saying and improve their own life as a result
Yeah.
of what we've talked about. So, um, the the do you have personal socials that you want to share?
No, I keep
Okay,
most of my stuff just for family and sharing.
sure. So go ahead and shout out your volleyball league one more time.
Yeah. So it's Westchester Force Volleyball Club, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay, and do you guys have a website?
Yes, westchesterforce.com.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. One other thing that I wanted to bring up, and I remember this now from earlier, when you were talking about getting on Google,
Hmm.
my brother has a company. I'm not going to mention it because I don't want people to connect me to all that, but they're small, and the way he got up on the first page of Google was he created 100 different websites mentioning his business.
Oh, wow.
And then that was the SEO is sales no, search engine optimization is SEO, and so like the SEO is like if you have 100 different things pointing to your website, then it thinks you're more popular
Yeah.
and it recommends you more. So
Okay.
that's interesting. I'm not saying go out and like create 100 different
Yeah.
websites, but
I don't know if I would have the time.
yeah.
But I have definitely seen an increase over the last couple of years, which
Yeah,
explains, we're getting reviews, we're getting
that's
different
awesome.
things. So it makes sense that we're getting a little bit more pool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Anything else that you want to mention? The floor is yours if you do.
No, no, I think we've covered a lot of it and it's been great.
Uh,
Thank you so much for inviting me on here.
yeah. It's been fun. Thank you again so much. And again, everybody watching, thank you so much for joining us today on the Rolling Forward podcast. If you like what you heard, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. I want to hear what keeps you rolling forward. My next t-shirt idea or something you heard today that stuck with you. And then if you want to see more shirts like the one I'm wearing, this one says, "I can't stand wheelchair jokes." You can find this design and others at rollingforward.printful.me. And if you've got a story worth sharing and fits the theme of what we're doing here, I'd love to hear from you. You could be my next guest. Until next time, keep rolling forward. Thanks all.